you can now hear it from the West Ham supporters. Finishing off the Bubbles song. But when the teams came out, all of the noise was coming from the section of Newcastle United supporters who I can imagine many of them will have had difficulties getting to this match for obvious reasons. Well, the game begins. It is West Ham who kick off, and the ball is played back to goalkeeper Areola, who fires it away downfield. West Ham in the claret and blue shirts with the white shorts and the white socks. If ever there was a team that could do with an early goal, it's West Ham. We did wonder whether Nuno might have thrown in a bit of a flanker in terms of who might play where, but I think it is pretty much as we expected. So Areola in goal, Wan-Bissaka, Todibo, Kilman and Diouf, the back four. Long ball played forward, but Botman will deal with that. Then in midfield, Freddie Potts starting a competitive match for the West Ham first team for the first time. So Potts and Mateus Fernandes in midfield, a youthful midfield too. Then Bowen, the captain, Paquetá, Somerville and Callum Wilson starting up front as the number 9 against his former club. Only the second match that he started for West Ham. And Newcastle, Pope in goal, Kraft at right back because Kieran Trippier is unwell. So Kraft, Chow, Botman and Byrne. Then that midfield three of Guimarães, Tonali and Joe Linton. What a prospect that is. Potts and Fernandes up against those three. And then Murphy, Voltemada and Gordon. And here is Anthony Gordon for Newcastle United down the left. Clips the ball across, took a deflection, and that is headed away by a stretching Fernandes. Tonali lifts it over the top looking for Voltemada. Newcastle United wearing their green kit again. You might like to call it the Saudi green and white colours. Green shirts, white shorts, green and white socks. Played forward towards their top scorer, Voltemada, who's made quite the impact. Then the ball goes through Joe Linton to Gordon on the left-hand side. Strong start from Newcastle. I fear what might happen if they do concede an early goal, West Ham. But it's won back. It's intercepted by Jared Bourne, who plays it back to Wan-Bissaka. And West Ham should get it away. They do through Potts on his full debut, and then a handball actually in the central third by Botman, so a free kick to West Ham. Clinton Morrison alongside me, first time for a couple of months. Clinton, you and I have done a commentary together.
Yeah, I need to speak to the bosses. It's not good enough. Me and you need to spend more time together on a Sunday, John. But I'm glad I'm back with you, and I'm looking forward to this game. Should be a good one. As you said, Newcastle haven't won away from home in the Premier League, and West Ham need a win massively, John. Yeah, and they've both been shy of goals this season in the Premier League. West Ham just the 7, but Newcastle only 9. And there is a foul on Anthony Gordon. John, sorry to interrupt. You know what I've noticed? Max Kilman, for a lot of the time, has been playing on the left side as a centre-half. He's now moved to the right side, and Todibo's gone to the left. I don't know why they've changed it, but that's a change that he's made.
Yes, and he has come in for some criticism, hasn't he, Maximilian Kilman, as he likes to be known.
Oh, wow.
The number 3. So interesting, that little switch that you've spotted. So here is Anthony Gordon on the left-hand side. Gordon, again, they're looking to him all the time. Sharp plays it infield, but doesn't find a teammate in green. And Paquetá is back there. Stories this week that he might be on the move. So there'll be a little bit of pressure on him today. Paquetá, as it's played forward, a flick by Somerville. He's looking to get it back, Somerville, and he has done well. Down the left-hand side, he shrugs off the challenge of Kraft. Now, still going. Somerville plays it square. Bourne takes it over in the D. Bourne shoots! Oh, it's hit the post and come back out. I've just got a feeling Pope might have got a touch on that, but it hit the post. Oh, how West Ham and Bowen and everyone in claret and blue must have wished that found the back of the net.
Yeah, it was great play from Somerville. He's the one.
Now Bruno Guimarães, and there's space opening up for Newcastle as they counter-attack. Jacob Murphy now onto his left foot, then back onto his right. Murphy shoots and scores! West Ham hit the post at one end. Newcastle go down the other, and Jacob Murphy scores. How's your luck, West Ham? Jacob Murphy, super finish from the angle, low into the far bottom corner, and it is West Ham 0, Newcastle 1, and it's taken Newcastle less than 5 minutes to go ahead.
And that's when your luck's out. When you know your luck's out and you're struggling. To be fair, it's poor defending from Juve. Jacob Murphy only wants to come onto his right foot. You have to show him inside. He lets him go on his outside, but credit to Murphy. Once he gets into that position, the strike is fantastic. I have to see the replay because it didn't look like it was convincing if Areola can save it, but I'm going to credit Murphy. It's a brilliant finish from Jacob Murphy, but they're unlucky because at the other end it was great play. But just got to show him inside, John. He can't let him go back on to his strong right foot.
Clinton, last night I was watching Cucurella for Chelsea, and to contrast Cucurella's defending in that match compared to Juve there, I mean, Murphy easily led him a merry dance. He's nowhere near him. Yeah,
and watching it, it's a brilliant strike. Do you know what he does? When he's defending, John, he spins his body around. So once you spin your body around, you can't see the ball. It's poor defending from Juve. Really poor defending.
And just watching at the other end, the replay of Bowen. No, Pope didn't get a touch on it. I thought it might have possibly flicked the defender as well. I think it flew past Botman. But for West Ham, well, that sums it up, doesn't it? There's a minute there to sum up the start of the season that West Ham have made.
It's just poor defending from Juve. When you see it again, listen, it's a great strike from Murphy. I watched the replay again. Areola's got no chance. He nestles it into that bottom corner, but he's just it's under 12 defending. Just show him onto his left foot, then don't spin back round. Watch the ball. Body shape was all wrong.
And also, after the moment of hitting the post, West Ham had committed downfield, but Bruno Guimaraes, when he received the ball in the centre circle, I'm not sure there was a West Ham player within probably 20 yards of it.
That's where Potts and Fernandes have to stay and be disciplined.
So West Ham 0, Newcastle 1. Choice of listening right now across the various BBC platforms. The Eastleigh Walsall FA Cup tie is about to get underway on Sports Extra 2, and you have to have the BBC Sounds app for Sports Extra 2 and Sports Extra 3. Port Vale against Malden and Tiptree will be on Sports Extra 3. The Women's World Cup final from Mumbai is on Sports Extra, and Eleanor Aldroyd can give us the latest.
And India have lost their captain Harmanpreet Kaur, bowled by Malaba for 20. So India 225 for 4 now. Big partnership was building between Sharma and Harmanpreet. If South Africa can limit India to under 300, they'll feel they've got a chance. 225 for 4.
Thank you, Eleanor. Yes, the commentary team is there, as they have been throughout the tournament, live inside the stadium, so that is on Sports Extra. West Ham 0, Newcastle 1 is the score. That is just the second goal that Newcastle have scored away from home in the Premier League this season. Voltemada against Brighton in their last away match. What a good goal that was.
Great little flick that was, Johnny. Everyone remembers that. But you know what? Credit Murphy, because you look at it, you got Elanga and Barnes who are knocking on the door. Paid a lot of money for Elanga. And Murphy just goes under the radar and does his job ever so well. It's a fantastic strike.
I think he has become a much better player over the course of the last couple of seasons.
Definitely. Because there was a lot of talk of him when all these players came in that he would move on. And he just took his game to another level. Yeah,
and Eddie Howe has seen that. And he's kept faith with him.
He has.
And he scored last weekend, remember, against Fulham in the win at St James's Park, which was the last of 3 wins in a row for Newcastle. All at home, those 3 wins in a row in different competitions. But Murphy scored in that one, and he scored in this one. An excellent finish, even though he was allowed the space by Juve. But it means that what West Ham, their supporters, were dreading here today has happened. Newcastle ahead early in this match. Newcastle, who've got a very good record away against West Ham as well, unbeaten in their last 6 away matches against West Ham, of which they've won 4. West Ham in possession. Here is Paquetá, who will just knock it back to Freddie Potts, son of Steve Potts, who I'm thinking that you might have played against, Clinton.
Yes. Yeah, good centre-back and could play right-back as well. Wasn't the biggest, but was really comfortable in possession and competitive as well.
And he is now part of Nuno's coaching staff, having been promoted when Graham Potter left and Nuno took over. Here is Paquetá now trying to find some space near the edge of the Newcastle penalty area. And then Bowen plays it infield. Paquetá plays it forward. Fernandes on the edge of the box. In fact, here's Callum Wilson, who was going to shoot from the angle, and he got it on target. Pope had to make the save. It was more or less straight at him. He went down and parried it, although as Pope gets up, I notice he's just feeling his lower left back.
It's old age, it happens to us all, and he's not even old, Nick Pope, so he should be all right. But now I think it's just the way, he's gone down and saved it, and you could maybe feel a little jerk in his back, but it was a save he should have made, John, for sure. But it's good play from Callum Wilson.
And it is 1-0 to Newcastle, but Pope has had to make his first save of the season. He's kept 8 clean sheets already this season, Nick Pope, from 12 appearances. That's not bad.
He's been very good, but defensively they've been very good as well in front of him.
Yeah, Cher on the bench again. Newcastle making a couple of changes from that win against Fulham last weekend. Tonali coming back in. Here is Gordon on the left-hand side. Anthony Gordon, 4 goals this season, but they've all been in the Champions League. Newcastle playing again at home at St James's Park in the Champions League this coming midweek. They'll have all of the matches covered. It's Athletic Bilbao that are coming to Tyneside. Ball's taken back towards the halfway line, and Newcastle with Tonali looks up, and with his black hair, his jet black hair bobbing, he hits a pass out towards the left-hand side. He looks like a man with his body language who's absolutely on top of his game, doesn't he? He's got that confidence. Here he is again, just turning the ball in his yellow boots out towards Gordon, who is then challenged well. Excellent tackle by Wan-Bissaka on the halfway line. That sets Bowen away. Wan-Bissaka continues his run down the right wing, then back to Bowen inside the penalty area. Still going on, the challenge comes in. It's a penalty. Bowen taken out. The challenge came in from Chow, sent Bowen flying, and Rob Jones, the referee, who was well placed, immediately with his left hand pointed to the spot, and West Ham have a chance to get back into the game.
That's all about Wan-Bissaka, that, John. He's brilliant, and you look, I'm watching it now. Oh, he does get a tiny. Bowen misses the ball, but I think he does catch him. Chiao. Oh,
Are you thinking he got the ball?
I don't know. I'm watching it there on the referee gives it straight away.
That's a clumsy chance. Does he get it?
Does he get a touch of the ball? I'm not sure. That's a hard one. He might have got a slight.
Does he?
Oh, I'm not sure.
I've seen it now three or four times.
It's different angles, isn't it, John? It's different angles. But I think if VAR if we're inconclusive, then they can't change it if the referee gives it on field. But I thought Chiao might have got a slight little touch on it.
Do you know what? It comes back to clear and obvious, Clinton. You've just kind of said it there, doesn't it? You and I have now seen that 3 or 4 times.
But they're slowing it down, and it looks like he does get a toe to it. Yeah.
Oh, that is the.
Yeah, he gets a toe.
He does.
He's not. Yeah. That's going to get overturned. He gets a toe on the ball.
Yeah, and do you know what? I was looking at the name of the video assistant referee for this one, Paul Howard, who is I would say, not one of the most experienced.
No, but he's got to make a big decision now.
And he's got a big decision here, but it does appear, certainly we've seen it when it was slowed down. Similar incident recently, by the way, the Fulham against Arsenal match, when Kevin put in the challenge on Saka and they overturned that one.
Yeah, that's not a penalty. He gets the ball. And let me tell you though, John, before that was brilliant play from Wan-Bissaka.
It was.
The tackle on Gordon. I think Gordon thinks he forgets he's got those long legs that can make tackles.
Oh, and here he is. He steps away now.
Yeah, it's
Rob
not
Jones, he's been told to come and have a look at it on the screens, just so that the referee can make the final decision on this. But effectively, the video assistant referee has made the decision. Groans from the West Ham supporters. We talk about the look. That could easily have been a penalty. It was a reckless challenge by Chow, but he did get a touch to the ball. Took out the man, but he did just get a touch on the ball. And the screen actually on its little tripod is way down to our left here, so he's had to go 3/4 of the length of the field. He's walked onto the claret carpet and he's having a look at it, Clinton.
I like the little setup. A good exercise for him as well. If he wasn't warmed up, he's definitely warmed up now. But yeah, Chiao gets the ball and then maybe catches Bowen through his follow through. So that's why the VAR have told him to go and have a look.
Yeah, it seems to be taking a surprisingly long time.
Because he wants to stay with the same decision. He wants to stay with the same decision. That's why it's taking him that long.
Well, he's had a look at it now several times. We know this because we can see the pictures that he's looking at, and he's still talking away to, as I say, Paul Howard it is. So the referee, Robert Jones, and there we are, turns away now, puts his hands over one another, and here's the announcement.
After review, Newcastle 12 clearly touches the ball before contact with West Ham. The final decision therefore, no penalty and a drop ball to the goalkeeper.
So there we are, cheers from the Newcastle United supporters, and more frustration for West Ham. And what are the West Ham players saying now?
I think they're saying
it should be a corner.
But can he do that though? Can he stop it like that? Because the ball did go out of play, but I think it's a ball that drops to Newcastle.
That's a good question, Clinton. This is very much a "you are the ref" question. So the West Ham players are thinking that because the ball was deflected behind.
Nick Pope starts with the ball. You can see here he's definitely not going to do that.
You know your laws of the game, Clinton. And the West Ham supporters don't like this either. It feels to them, and probably those 11 men down there on the pitch, that the world's against them.
Yeah, definitely. And listen, I get it, but they haven't seen what we've seen. And Chiao does get the ball, so I think VAR made the right decision. But it should make them be positive, West Ham, because they've started the game well, apart from the defending from Geoff. John.
Yes, West Ham 0, Newcastle United 1 then. And we've had 15 minutes. It's funny, isn't it, how often when you and I are together, there are a lot of talking points in the matches that we cover, and here we go again.
I just bring drama everywhere I go, John. I'm going to be honest with you. All sorts of drama.
Chaos.
Yeah, chaos.
Sakia would say.
Yes.
The ball's played forward for West Ham, but Pope comes out and he overarms it out brilliantly. What a pass that is. Down the left wing for Gordon to run onto. Wan-Bissaka trying to get back there, and then also in comes Mateus Fernandes with a challenge, and they are able between them to get the ball off Anthony Gordon. But what a pass from Nick Pope that was.
That was brilliant from Nick Pope, brilliant.
West Ham have given it away, but Murphy on the stretch can't bring it under control, and it's behind for a goal kick. So the score here in London, beautiful afternoon by the way, lovely autumn afternoon, walking through the Queen Elizabeth Olympic Park earlier to get to the stadium here. Blue skies, autumn colours on the trees. It is West Ham 0, Newcastle 1, and we are going to go. Where are we going to go? Where shall we go? We should go to Hampden, to Gavin Wallace.
Thank you, John. It's 0-0 at the moment, 15 played here. Maybe some of that drama that Clinton likes could be delivered here. Both teams still trying to feel each other out at the moment. It's very much eeksy-peeksy. Celtic maybe just more than the possession, but it's 0-0, 15 gone.
Thank you. Eeksy-peeksy. And it is 1-0 to Newcastle here. So Celtic Rangers will keep you right across that. Also those FA Cup ties, Eastleigh against Walsall, will be underway now. So that's on BBC Two, by the way, but we'll keep you across that. And the commentary, as I said earlier, is on Sports Extra 2. 1-0 to Newcastle United. Jacob Murphy, his second goal of the season, 2 goals in 2 Premier League matches, and Newcastle conceding, winning a free kick on the halfway line. And it's actually offside that Botman will take to Tonali, and then all the way back to Botman again. Newcastle United also through to the quarter-finals this week with that win against Tottenham. Quite a rousing night that was, with the holders through into the last 8 of the competition, and but they want to be higher up the league table this morning in 13th place with well, they've played 9, won 3, drawn 3, lost 3 in the Premier League this season, and there's a bit of pressure on this match with West Ham in the shape that they're in. I think if Newcastle, having taken an early lead, aren't able to see this through and get the 3 points, I think there'll be a deal of disappointment. As Tonali again, he has space there once more, and if you give Tonali space, there's every chance he's going to use it. Gets the ball back from Joe Linton. Now here it is with Anthony Gordon again. That long blonde hair of his now with that big black headband bobbing as he gives it back to Tonali, and then Tonali just to his right to Chow. Long pass from Chow, first time touch from Voltemada. That was nice. Voltemada gets it back, edge of the area, then works it. Murphy with a shot, but it's straight at goalkeeper Areola, who's able to go down and clutch it into his body.
Poor defending again, John.
In fact, he deflected it behind, didn't he? It's a corner.
It is. Voltemada plays well. It's poor from Areola. It's an easy shot and he parries it away. It's straight into his chest.
Well, I mean, he should have held it.
Yeah,
he should have gathered that into his body, but he got all the wrong contacts. He dropped to his right, it was deflected off him and behind for a corner. This is a very cheap corner. And remember, West Ham have conceded 9 goals from corners already this season. So the alarm bells ringing. Newcastle's first corner, in it comes, it misses everyone. Anthony Gordon's able to catch up with it, gets it under control, curls it in, that's headed away by Paquetá. Then a shot which is blocked on the edge of the area from Murphy. Shouts for as the ball comes back to Gordon. A long pass from him towards the edge of the box. Byrne gets up and challenges for that, headed away, then bounces out in Newcastle. Oh, in fact, it's won back by Somerville, and Somerville under pressure actually just deflects it out of play for a throw-in on the halfway line. West Ham 0, Newcastle United 1, but straight back to Glasgow because Gavin Wallace.
Celtic have scored. It's an own goal. It comes off, I'm sure it comes off Nico Raska, and the replay coming to me now. Celtic take a really quick free kick just outside the box. Nygren's involved, but then unfortunately Giga hits it off the midfielder. It goes in. They'll check it, possibly offside, so you come back to me, John, I hope. At the moment though, Celtic 1, Rangers 0.
Yes, we'll do that. That's intriguing, isn't it? That match, that semi-final with Martin O'Neill, Danny Röhl, relatively new in the two jobs, and Celtic, it seems, might well have gone 1-0 up, so we'll confirm that in a moment or two. West Ham 0, Newcastle United 1. Commentary coming up from 4:30 on Manchester City against Bournemouth. Alistair Bruce Ball will have Paul Robinson alongside him for that one. Newcastle with Tonali, the space there down the right hand side, and Newcastle with Kraft runs into it. Kraft playing because Kieran Trippier is unwell. Lewis Hall is back among the substitutes after a little spell out for him. And the Celtic goal has, Gavin Wallace,
been chalked off for offside. It's the tightest of offsides. A quick VAR check and it was off. They were really quick. Rangers get another bite at this. 0-0, 20 gone, John.
Back to 0-0, Celtic and Rangers. 1-0 Newcastle. Dan Byrne actually did take a knock during that last attack in the aftermath of the corner, but I think he's okay. Takes a lot to injure Dan Byrne. Sven Botman has miscontrolled the ball. It's out for a throw-in. Wan-Bissaka, who, as Clinton Morrison says, was absolutely superb the way that he won the ball back in the build-up to the spell of play when West Ham thought they'd won a penalty and would have a chance to make it 1-1. And now a free kick for a challenge on Tonali in the centre circle. More on that in a moment, but there has been an opening goal in the FA Cup, the tie between Eastleigh and Walsall. Jacob Coleshaw.
And it's for the League Two leaders, John. Eastleigh 0, Walsall 1. A corner swung in from the left, and the centre-back Weir was there to nod it home. 6 minutes gone. Eastleigh 0, Walsall 1.
So Walsall in front. That's on BBC Two. If you're on the move, the commentary on Sports Extra 2. So 1-0 Newcastle with a free kick. Tonali has just stayed down.
Yeah, I think Freddie Potts was stretching. He took a bad touch. He just lunged in on him and caught Tonali. I think it was on the ankle, so it was a bit of a sore one. Yeah. You know what makes me laugh? West Ham have paid a lot of money. I know he didn't do that well, Hermanson. I think Hermanson's a better goalie than Areola. I know he's made a few mistakes earlier on, but I think they've stuck with Areola now. But they paid quite a bit of money for him as well.
They did. £20 million he cost from Leicester City. Last couple of seasons at Leicester, relegated obviously at the end of last season. And yes, that shot that Murphy had that was rather juggled behind by Areola. 1-0 to Newcastle. West Ham facing the possibility of 5 defeats out of 5 at home this season. Newcastle attack down the right and win a corner, but there has been another wicket in the Women's Cricket World Cup final. Eleanor Oldroyd.
5th wicket down for India. Amanjot Kaur caught and bowled by de Klerk for 12, so that is another breakthrough, another wicket which will slow down the pace of India, who looked like they were on for a big score at the start, but they're now 245 for 5 in the 44th over.
Here's the Newcastle corner. Tonali into the near post, but West Ham deal with that as well. So 2 corners, they've survived, and it's put out of play over on the far side for a throw-in to Newcastle. The Emil Kraft will take. Sun shining down on the West Ham stadium. That the famous sculpture with all of that red metalwork peeping over the top of the stand on the opposite side of the ground, the ArcelorMittal. As Newcastle take the throw on the far side, comes back to the halfway line. Actually, there's a foul there, and it's a free kick to West Ham, halfway inside their own half. Halfway through the first half, Clinton. Newcastle in front, and West Ham can't feel sorry for themselves.
No, they can't, because they've done all right. They've been competitive, and they look a threat going forwards. In particular, Somerville and Jared Bowen. They need to get the ball out to them too. But yeah, they've been all right. Listen, the goal is poor defending from Geoff, but thought they should have had a penalty, and then they obviously hit the post with Jared Bowen. Yeah,
long one through the middle. Pope's come out of his penalty area to head it away, got good contact on it, and it's actually, possession is kept by Mateus Fernandes. Fernandes then runs into Joe Linton and Anthony Gordon. under pressure, is able to find the pass to a teammate in green, and Newcastle go back towards the edge of their penalty area. What did you think when you saw, because we did discuss it, didn't we, what Nuno would do with his team selection today and who he would include, who he would leave out? Bones won it back though from Tonali, and now Bones taking it into the middle of the Newcastle half, plays it towards the edge of the area. Wilson now to the right hand side, Paquetá is there, Paquetá drives it across, took a deflection, loops up and actually lands on the top of the crossbar, but the offside flag was up.
John, he's offside from about 5 minutes ago when Wilson plays him the ball. I don't know why the linesman let the ball go. I'm up here and we're about 50 miles away, John, not that far. No, it's a close one. He's right to let it go on. Sorry, I apologise, linesman.
However, you did call it.
But I did
as you always do.
Yeah.
As you always do.
But it's good play.
There is nothing more reliable in broadcasting than Clinton Morrison putting his hand up as if he's raising a flag. Honestly, I cannot remember a time you've got that wrong.
I know. I just thought.
So therefore, I knew it wasn't going to count if it did end up in the back of the net. West Ham 0, Newcastle 1. Back to Hampden, Gavin Wallace.
Because Celtic have just scored. A minute ago, Rangers should have scored through Chermiti. Celtic got the park, they get a corner, and Johnny Kenny beats everyone there. Header at the front post, it goes the far side of the goalkeeper, and it's Celtic 1, Rangers 0.
No, West Ham have won possession back, but crucially Callum Wilson slipped on the edge of the box. Here's Wan-Bissaka though, good cross to the back post, but it is just headed away by Chow. West Ham threatening, Wilson was waiting. In fact, it's Somerville with the ball, in it comes into the penalty area, blocked by Tonali, then lovely flick into the area, Bourne now trying to turn, but across came Botman and put in the challenge, and it's behind for a corner to West Ham, but there's encouragement for the home supporters.
Yeah, they've been brilliant. I think Wan-Bissaka's been good for them at the right back. It's a great ball into the box and it's well defended at the back post, but they do look a threat. Paquetá looks like he's got his game together. Somerville, Bowen, they're causing Newcastle problems. Have to score when they're on top, John.
Yeah, they are behind. Corner though, this is West Ham's first corner. Newcastle setting themselves. Lots of pressure on Pope. In it comes, Pope comes, gets a fist to it in amongst all of the heads and was able to deflect it across the box, and Newcastle got it away. Then it's played forward for Voltemade at the chase, but he won't get there. Wan-Bissaka comfortably comes across and is able to take the ball back towards the edge of his own penalty area and then back to the edge of the box. So he plays it up towards Wilson, who chests it off. Callum Wilson, who was at Newcastle for 5 seasons, very much a part of the rise of Newcastle United under Eddie Howe. 130 appearances, would have been more, many more, had it not been for the various injuries that he had. Ended up on 49 goals, and here he is. He'll have wanted to start today, won't he?
Of course he did. You
against his former club.
Against your old team, don't you?
Yes, you got plenty of opportunities to do that, didn't you?
Yes, I did. I had so many
clubs. How many of them did you actually score against?
I don't even know. Probably not a lot of them, because I felt sorry for them that I'd left them.
That's what you said afterwards.
Afterwards, exactly.
Ball's played back to Areola, the goalkeeper for West Ham, plays it to the halfway line where Paquetá, excellent piece of skill there. That was right out of the Brazilian playbook, wasn't it? Chested it down, then headed it a couple of times, juggled a header, and then kept possession. Lovely to watch. Here's Wan-Bissaka now. Wan-Bissaka back at right back, where I think he is certainly comfortable. Of course he can play on the other side, as Nuno has played him recently, remember from his Manchester United days. Here's Diouf down the left, Diouf for the cross, Pope dives, punches it away, Somerville misses his kick, snatched at it, missed his kick, and Newcastle were able to clear it away. And he didn't have much time, but he did look hurried, didn't he?
Yeah, he did, and it's moments like that which you need when you're near the bottom to drop for you. But yeah, you can hear the fans now. They were quiet before, but that's what happens. You play well and start doing well, they'll get behind you here at West Ham.
West Ham second from bottom after just one win from their first 9 Premier League matches, 7 defeats in their first 9 matches, so 2 points above Wolves at the bottom of the table. Wolves, who have, if you haven't heard, Wolves have sacked Vitor Pereira. So as Diouf crosses from the left hand side, it's a deep cross. Bourne is just beaten to it by his England teammate Anthony Gordon, and it's glance headed out of play for a throw into West Ham down this right hand side. Yes, if you're a Wolves fan, you haven't heard that, I'm sure you'll want to talk about it on 606 tonight after the the Manchester City Bournemouth commentary. Robbie Savage and Chris Sutton will be taking your calls when the lines open. You can get in touch, hashtag BBC606 on social media, as West Ham come forward again, and he's leaned into by Bruno Guimaraes, and actually that's a yellow card, as well as Somerville was in a central position running towards the edge of the box. He was shoved over, and it's a yellow card for the Newcastle captain.
They're the better team at the moment, West Ham, John, causing problems. Somerville getting into little pockets. Paquetá, probably the best game I've seen him play in a while. It looks like he's got his mojo and wants to prove a point, and they're causing a lot of problems. But I said it, have to score when you're on top, because Newcastle will, on the counter-attack, are devastating.
Yeah, free kick. Well, we know that Paquetá can hit them, can't he? Nuno, the still new coach of West Ham, in his long coat, his hooded coat, puts his hands in his pockets, taters around, not able to win a match in his first 4 as the West Ham head coach. So this free kick, good position. I mean, this is, what will that be, 24 yards out, something like that?
Yeah, I think you're right.
So left foot, Paquetá. Newcastle have lined up the wall. Robert Jones is still talking to them. West Ham players in there as well. They know what they've got to do, can't get too close. So Paquetá, he's the only candidate to take this. Nick Pope waits, a yard off his line, middle of the goal. Big moment this. Newcastle winning 1-0. West Ham free kick. Paquetá hits it low, and Pope goes down and saves it.
I think it hits the post, you know, John. I think he tips that onto the post, Nick Pope. I think it's a very good save. You know what it is? Paquetá don't go over. I think the wall jump, and he finds a gap in between it. And it's really, good save from Pope. Tips it onto the post.
Yeah,
really well. Really good save.
That's a super save. And it found its way through as well. And Pope diving full length down to his left, and he's it's been high fives, low fives all round. All those clean sheets, 8 of them already this season, and that's preserved this one thus far. Half an hour played. Here's the corner then, as a result. It's a deep one for West Ham. It's gone all the way to Somerville on the edge of the box. He takes it down. Tonali quickly closes him down. Right foot shot from Somerville, deflected wide of goal. It's another corner. Another one for West Ham, which will also be taken by Freddie Potts, 22 years old, number 32 on his back. Just his 11th senior appearance for West Ham. Was on loan at Portsmouth last season. So the young man puts the ball down. He's been given the responsibility of taking the corners. Potts, right-footed, out-swinger, which is headed and pushed over the top. Kilman with a header, but it was just above Nick Pope, and Pope was able to throw his arms up and push it over the crossbar. Another corner. Yeah,
it's one you think Pope should save anyway, but it's a good header from Kilman. He gets ahead of Dan Burn, and we don't see many players do that, and it's a good header, but it's a save you expect Pope to make.
Well, they are knocking on the door, West Ham. 1-0 to Newcastle, but West Ham having probably their best spell for some while. Potts corner, poor on this one. Should have been cleared actually at the near post by Murphy. He was fortunate because he mishit it, and it bounced back to him, and he was able to get it away and out of play for a throw-in near the halfway line. So 1-0 to Newcastle. Still Eastleigh 0, Walsall 1 in the FA Cup. Shrewsbury Town are through. If you weren't listening earlier, won 3-1 at South Shields. And Celtic winning 1-0 against Rangers in the Cup semi-final for the right to play St Mirren.
John, he's in the mood. Sorry to interrupt you, Paquetá. He just done a flick there, and he looks like he's in the mood this afternoon. But you just worry for them, because Newcastle haven't started but are winning this football match 1-0.
Yep, and chance there. It's an excellent free kick. Picked his spot and found it. It was heading into the bottom corner. Nick Pope with the save, and then Kilman with the header. Kilman, who's never scored for West Ham, and as you say, it was a comfortable save, that one, for Pope to push it over the top of the crossbar. West Ham 0, Newcastle 1. Ball over the top for Somerville to chase, but Nick Pope just allows that one to go by outside the off stump, and it rolls through behind for a goal kick. I wonder if Thomas Tuchel is here. He was at Tottenham last night. I thought he might be here today. We've got quite a number of England players out there. Thomas Tuchel names his squad on Friday, and his predecessor, by the way, Sir Gareth Southgate, is on 5 Live Breakfast in the morning. His new book is out just in time for Christmas.
Lovely.
Dear England, which will be the story of his England years, I'm guessing. And he'll be on 5 Live in the morning, on breakfast, talking about it, and so don't miss that. West Ham 0, Newcastle 1. Here is Botman challenging Wilson, and Wilson's unhappy about that. Robert Jones says no free kick. He used all of his physicality there. Dan Burn, one of those England players, he's been in every Tuchel squad so far. Botman, who's yet to play for the Netherlands at senior international level, to Chow, the German international, who plays it forward towards the halfway line. West Ham back in possession. Well, they've come close, a number of near things. They thought they had a penalty, it was ruled out. Bones hit the post. Now West Ham, Somerville will across. Pope comes, gets a very strong punch on that. It's played square by Fernandez. Then Paquetá with a shot. It's in! It's beaten Pope! Diving down to his right, it crept in! And West Ham have the equaliser, and it's Paquetá, who's been excellent, back to his best, who has found the equaliser. And that is a little stroke of fortune. West Ham 1, Newcastle 1.
Yeah, I don't know. I need to watch it again, because where we are, I don't understand how it's beat Nick Pope, unless it's took a slight deflection. But West Ham deserved this, and I said it earlier, John. Paquetá looks like he's in the mood. It always looks like when he wants to get a move or talks about a move, he always produces it. I remember earlier on in the season against Forest, but he picks the ball up. And surely it can't be beaten from there, Nick Pope, with the saves he's made. So it must take a slight deflection, but it's a fantastic strike from Paquetá.
Well, there is a telling angle just coming up.
He should save it. It's not a deflection, John. I think there's no backlift, and it's a good strike. And Nick Pope gets there, and it goes under his arm. Wow, once you get your hand on it, it kind of like misses it. I think it's a goalkeeping mistake, but great strike from Paquetá.
That's unlike him, maybe slightly unsighted,
yes,
but
yeah.
However, he was still diving for it, and he just didn't get the contact on it that he wanted. And it is West Ham 1, Newcastle 1, and that has lifted the place. After the early goal, Newcastle in front in the 5th minute. Here we are 10 minutes from half-time, and Lucas Paquetá, West Ham's man of the match so far, scoring from... How far out would that be? Probably 23, 24 yards out. A bit of bend on it, but Pope diving to his right, got his gloves on it. There was just a dip, wasn't there? And it made contact on his gloves on the underside, but crept into the bottom corner. So 1-1, and West Ham have found a bit of something. Here's Gordon down the left-hand side, going back to Hamden again in a moment. Still, Anthony Gordon with a cross. That's deflected, loops up, and Areola comes and catches it. So back to Hamden and Gavin Wallace.
It's still 1-0 to Celtic. Rangers, though, John, should have had 2 goals. Chermitis had 2 big gilt-edged chances. The latest there, free kick in from Tavernier towards the back post. He gets it all wrong, but it's Celtic 1, Rangers 0.
And what's happening at the FA Cup at Eastleigh? Jacob Coshaw.
Still Walsall lead, John, but Eastleigh are pushing and probing after the opener. Humphreys hitting the bar, Wecker glowing close, Saunders' effort just wide, but it remains Eastleigh 0, Walsall 1.
Thank you very much. So 1-1 it is, and what have we got? 7 minutes to half-time, or thereabouts. Free kick to Newcastle, Tonali in the centre circle. And Newcastle have faded, or I think more correctly to say, West Ham have come on probably as strongly as they have in any match this season. I haven't seen them all, but I suspect this has been some of the best play that we've seen from them.
I probably think this is one of their best performances of the season so far. And Newcastle haven't started, but I think we should credit West Ham more than Newcastle not starting.
Well, there have been some controversial team selections from various West Ham managers, whether it's Nuno, whether it's Graham Potter, whether it was Julian Lopetegui before him, but I got the impression that this one was received well, with Fernandez and Potts in midfield. Was that a handball on the...
No, Jared Bowen just turned Dan Burton and he just pulled him back. And truly, it should be a yellow card.
Be a yellow card.
Yeah, but he's not.
Yeah, for Burn, but he looked, unless Robert Jones is going... No, he's not. It's a free kick, which is taken quickly by Paquetá, but he's overhit that all the way through to Pope. But yeah, Fernandez and Potts in midfield, Bowen, Paquetá, Somerville and Wilson. It's positive. It's got that youth in the midfield instead of Souček and Irving from the Leeds match. Here's Gordon at the other end. Gordon shoots, and it's saved well by Areola. Down to his right, got one hand on it to push it round the post. And Gordon there, dangerous in that position on the edge of the area. Areola keeps him out.
Yeah, it's brilliant. It's a good pass from Murphy, and he takes a touch. Wan-Bissaka and Kilman have to get closer to Gordon. You can't give him that much time. It's a brilliant save from Areola.
It's going to be a corner to Newcastle. Going to go back to Hamden as they approach half-time once we see what happens with this corner. But again, just to underline it, West Ham have conceded from 9 corners in the Premier League this season, many more than anyone else. Tonali to take this to the back post, but West Ham again deal with it, headed away. It's Kilman who got his head to it, and it bounces away for West Ham. So back to Hampden, Gavin Wallace.
Where Thelo Asgard has just been sent off for Rangers, John. It studs up on Anthony Ralston. I've just seen pictures of his legs. He's ripped his shorts, studs down his leg, and Asgard has been shown a straight red card. Rangers down to 10 and down 1-0.
Sent off in a Celtic Rangers match. How many have there been of them over the years? Probably, I would say, bearing in mind how often they've played. Sendings off, there've probably been, I'm going to say, 50 or 60.
Yeah, I'd agree with you. What silly decision to be sent off in a big game like that, especially when your teammate earlier on as well.
When there's been promise for Danny Röhl in these early matches, 1-0 down to Celtic, and they are down to 10. Celtic winning 1-0. More on that at half-time. West Ham won, Newcastle won, but West Ham have recovered well. And Newcastle now, Eddie Howe will be concerned about this. In fact, he's there, isn't he, with Jason Tyndall, standing on the C and the A of Academy, as in the Academy of Football, which is written in white letters on the claret surround to the pitch behind the technical area. Here's Tonali passing it forward, Voltemada with a flick, then Guimarães, then up towards the edge of the box where Murphy's going to have a goal, but it flies away over the top. Areola threw an arm up, didn't get a touch on it. It's a goal kick.
Yeah, and it feels like now West Ham have scored, they've kind of sat back. They've got to go and try and get that second goal, because if you allow a team like Newcastle to get into the game, they will punish you. But positive, probably one of the best 41 minutes these crowd have seen there this season, that's for sure.
Yeah, and it isn't full. You can see quite a number of, the seats here are white, claret and blue, and you can see them. A number of people I think have moved away now to move to the various outlets inside the ground, and there are plenty of them here in this wide open former Olympic Stadium in East London. Wan-Bissaka putting the challenge in, and it bounces all the way almost down the tunnel, throw into Newcastle. Dan Burn to take this. Tonali says, here we are, give it to me, which he does, and then Gordon wins a throw in off Jared Bowen. Byrne takes the throw all the way back to Botman. Cher is on the bench, the 33-year-old Fabian Cher, but these are the central defenders who played against Fulham in the Premier League last weekend, even though Cher played in the Cup and indeed scored against Tottenham. Byrne playing it in from the left-hand side, hits Joe Linton, bounces nicely for Gordon, then Joe Linton pulls it across and it's blocked away, out of play for a corner. It was intercepted by West Ham, so it's going to be a corner for Newcastle with 2.5 minutes of the first half to play. Tonali comes across here, just down from one of the absolutely massive scoreboard screens up in the stands. Corner taken short, Tonali gets it back, then he curls it in and Areola watches it get right underneath it and then punches it away with power, and it's been taken forward by Diouf, and Diouf goes for an early pass, but he's overhit it, and Nick Pope's able to come out and clear it away downfield back to West Ham.
Yeah, good start in the position, good play from Diouf, and I know what he's trying to do, the early ball, because Jared Bowen made a good run, but it was a good starting position from Nick Pope.
Yes, Diouf, who I saw play for Senegal in that win against England at the end of the season at the City Ground. Senegal have qualified for the World Cup now. I think they'll be a threat if they play anything like they did against England at the end of the season. Here's Wan-Bissaka on the right-hand side, now a DR Congo international. Wan-Bissaka, having never played for England. Wan-Bissaka takes it on and then gets that all wrong as he tried to cross. Sliced it straight out of play.
That's why he's got in a locker, either very good or can do that where you can, and I can say that because I know him personally, so where he can get his feet muddled up, and that was like, he's been watching my videos.
It's easily done.
It is easily done. It is easily done.
I think anyone who's ever played football has probably done
100%.
Yeah. Not necessarily every player in the Premier League.
Exactly. Yeah.
Never mind. He was Hammer of the Year last year.
He was. He hasn't started brilliantly this year, but he's had a good first half so far.
Yeah, here's Kraft for Newcastle, playing it down the right-hand side. Murphy is challenged, and that's out of play off Todibo for a throw into Newcastle, level with the edge of the West Ham box. So it's 1-1 in the final minute of the first 45. It's going to be a long throw. I was talking about long throws with Rob Green last night after the Premier League put out all of the various statistics this week. And actually it's a short throw which is taken by Kraft, then stabbed towards the edge of the box where Joe Linton works it back. Now the ball in from Murphy, but that's headed away by Todibo. Didn't get anything on that. He was actually alongside one of his own teammates. So Botman's going to cross, left-footed from the left-hand side, but it's over everyone, and it will bounce out of play for a throw-in to West Ham in their own left-back area. See the fourth official, Peter Banks it is, who's just walking forward with the big board. Nuno continues to pace around. Lots of movement now in the stands, the wide concourse down in front of us, in front of the director's box. And the throw-in is taken by West Ham up towards Somerville. Plays it back now into the left-back position where it's struck downfield. 5 minutes of added time. Newcastle take back possession. Dan Burn, now Murphy, Newcastle's goal scorer, is able to go round the outside and gets the crossover headed away at the near post by Todibo, stabbed back into the box by Tonali. That's cleared away, and then Callum Wilson is dispossessed by Botman. Whoa, what a turn by Joe Linton inside the box, back onto his right foot, shoots across goal. It took a deflection and Areola was able to dive to his left. It didn't have the power on it, but he still had to be at full stretch to push it away around the post and behind. Corner.
Yeah, it was good play from Joe Linton. He found half a yard. He turned Kilman, turned Fernandes. He doesn't get enough on it. I don't think it's going in, but Areola didn't know that, and it's a good parry away from him.
Actually, since the equaliser, West Ham have just dropped off, haven't they? I mean, they put a big effort in to get the equaliser, which they did. Here's the corner from Tonali. It's headed away by Kilman. There was a Newcastle player down in the box, but the referee spotted an infringement against West Ham and gives the free kick to the home side.
Yeah, you're right, John. I think West Ham need half-time. When those 5 minutes came up, I think the players were looking and thinking, we put a lot into this so far, we need half-time.
Yeah, they have. It's been enjoyable, actually.
It has. It's been a really good game.
Yeah. 1-1 it is. Still Celtic 1, Rangers 0, but Asgard's sent off, so Rangers are playing with 10 men in the semi-final. Eastleigh 0, Walsall 1, and we will have Champions League commentaries for you this coming midweek, so listen out for that. Tuesday night, Wednesday night, 2 matches on both nights on 5 Live, so the early kick-off, so there'll be early finishes to drive on Tuesday and Wednesday as Newcastle, who will play Athletic Bilbao, come forward in the final minutes of this first half in added time. Voltemada back to Joe Linton. Now here's Tonali on the left wing. Gordon is there as well, but the challenge on him is tight from Kilman, and it's out of play finally off the Newcastle man for a throw-in to the home side. Robert Jones is just walking across there to check that all is in order, but it is, yes, and Anthony Gordon adjusts his headband. So yes, Newcastle will be playing on Wednesday night against Athletic Bilbao, but on Tuesday the early start is Slavia Prague against Arsenal, so we'll be there in the Czech capital for that one from 5:45. Then the small matter of Liverpool Real Madrid on Tuesday night at 8 o'clock. Tottenham Copenhagen will be on Sports Extra. Karabag Chelsea is the 5:45 kickoff on Wednesday, and then Manchester City Borussia Dortmund on 5 Live on Wednesday night. And also Thursday night Europa League commentaries on Celtic and Rangers you'll be able to hear on Sports Extra. So that is this coming midweek. But here, last moments of the first half, where it's 1-1 on this sunny Sunday afternoon in November. Somerville carrying the ball up towards the edge of the Newcastle box in his black gloves, then plays it back to Fernandes, the summer arrival from Southampton. Back to Somerville with a shot, but it's close enough to Pope, just drops down to his left-hand side and is able to make the save and gather it.
Yeah, they've tested him quite a lot. That's a comfortable save. That's one, doesn't get enough power on it, Somerville, but he's been lively on that left-hand side, but comfortable save from Nick Pope.
As Newcastle bring the ball out from the back. Still over a minute of these 5 of added time to play. Nicely flicked forward by Bruno Guimaraes to Tonali, and then misplaced pass from Bruno Guimaraes, just trying to knock it into the path of Kraft, possibly expecting, I don't know, Kieran Trippier to be bursting forward onto that, and it's not Trippier today, it is Kraft. So in the end, It didn't look good, passed it straight out of play. He's not been at his best, Bruno Guimaraes, today, actually. It's normally so important. Ball clipped forward. Wan-Bissaka now plays it. Goal! It's an own goal! West Ham are in front! Deflected into his own net by Botman. And it's West Ham 2, Newcastle 1. And I'm not sure, I think some of the West Ham fans can't believe it. All the luck was against them in the early part of the match. Now they end up scoring through an own goal, and they're going to be in front at half-time, 2-1.
Yeah, they can't believe it, to be fair. But you know what? It's a brilliant ball from Fernandes, and Wan-Bissaka's been doing that. He tries to play it to Callum Wilson, and Botman just sticks a foot out, and he's wrong-footed Nick Pope. But they probably deserve that, West Ham. They've been the better team. It is the best performance I've seen from West Ham this season, and it was brilliant play from Wan-Bissaka, and Botman's unfortunate. It just goes in and wrong-foots Nick Pope. And yeah, it's the perfect time to score, right before they go in at half-time. And I can guarantee you, a lot of these fans have missed it because they're queuing up for their cup of tea or whatever they have at half-time.
Well, I hope it's worth it for them.
Exactly.
But, well, what a turnaround. West Ham might even win at home this season. They've lost all of their matches. 5-1 against Chelsea, 3-0 against Tottenham, 2-1 against Crystal Palace, 2-0 against Brentford. So this, therefore, already is the first match in which they've scored 2 goals at home this season.
Yep, it's been positive, really positive. Good start so far, but only 45 minutes, John.
Albeit, one was a goalkeeping mistake and the other was an own goal. But we'll paper over that for West Ham's sake. Here's Murphy crossing to the far side of the penalty area. That's headed away by Wan-Bissaka, and then it's out of play for what is given as, in fact, that's it, that's the end. And listen to this, so quiet when the teams walked out, but there's West Ham cheer in the air, Clinton.
Yeah, there is. I bet the players ain't heard that all season. That must be music to their ears. Usually they're getting booed off at half-time, but no, really positive performance from West Ham. Been outstanding from minute one. I think they've been brilliant and thoroughly deserved this lead. Newcastle haven't started apart from the Murphy. He scored a very good goal.
It's funny, isn't it, how things go?
Yes.
Bowen hitting the post with a shot. Newcastle went down the other end and scored through Jacob Murphy. Then West Ham thought they had a penalty. It was overturned correctly by VAR, but that seemed to spark something in them. And after that, West Ham were much, much better. Played, we reckon, some of their best football of the season, possibly the best football of the season. They got the equaliser when Paquetá hit the shot from distance outside the penalty area, and Pope diving, got a touch on it but couldn't keep it out. Mistake by the Newcastle goalkeeper. And there, right at the end of the first half, I think in the 4th minute of added time, Wan-Bissaka's ball across, Sven Botman diving for it, deflected it into his own net. So, shock of shocks. West Ham 2, Newcastle 1 at half-time.
We'll be back with the two of you in just a second. Also half-time at Hampden in that Scottish League Cup semi-final. Celtic Rangers, Gavin Wallace.
Yeah, 1-0 to Celtic. I asked Clinton Morrison to send us some drama, Stephen. I think we've had quite a bit of it. Chermites had 2 big chances missed. Johnny Kenny with a bullet header means that he's scored 3 goals in 2 games for Celtic under Martin O'Neill. That came on 25 minutes from a corner. Butland should do better. And then Theo Asgard sent off a straight red card, studs up around the groin and upper leg area of Anthony Ralston. It looked really, really, really sore. Celtic thinking that the weak link is Jigga and Tavernier, as everything is coming down this side. But now the game plan for Danny Roll way out the window. They're down to 10 men and down 1-0 at half-time.
India have set the target in the Women's Cricket World Cup final. Ellie Oldroyd.
The target will be 299 for South Africa to win. It'll be the first time they have won a World Cup. It'll be the first time for India as well. If they can defend that total, it looked like it could have been around the 300 mark when Smriti Mandana and Shafali Verma put on 104 for the first wicket. But Verma, 87, the top scorer for her. Deepti Sharma, 58 not out, and vital late powerful runs from Risha Ghosh. 34 from her as well, off just 24 deliveries. It's going to be a fascinating run chase. 299 needed to win the World Cup for South Africa.
And you'll get the commentary on 5 Sports Extra back to the London Stadium. Clinton, the goal that's put West Ham in front is obviously an absolute freak. So let's just focus on the thing that isn't. And that's the performance of Lucas Paquetá. We've not seen him at this level for a long time, but it started from minute 1 almost.
Yeah, he's been good. It looks like he's doing it. Sometimes I always think he overdoes it. We know he's a special player, but I think he's got his mojo. He just looks like he wants to have a good game. He wants to make things happen. Last time I seen him perform like that was against Forest away at the start of earlier on in the season, where there was a lot of talk of him moving on before the deadline day, and he produced a brilliant performance. And then you see it today. There's obviously in the news, is he going to leave? And I think he's been fantastic, getting on the ball, making things happen. We know he's a serious talent, Crossy, but we don't see it often enough. West Ham needs to see that from now to the end of the season.
And I'm continually impressed, Clinton, by Jacob Murphy, because it doesn't seem to matter who Newcastle sign. He finds a way to keep himself in the picture.
Yeah, you're right. Me and John were talking about it, and I think over the last 2 years he's evolved and took his game to another level. I think it helps when you're bringing quality through the building, because you have to raise your game. Of course, I've always said that when you play with better players, you raise your game and take it to a different level. Brought in Elanga, brought in Barnes, and Eddie Howe trusts him and always plays him, and he scores big goals, and he's improved so much as a footballer. One of the most improved players I've seen in the Premier League. Thoroughly deserves what he's getting at the moment.
Right, we'll be reacting to Women's Super League victories for Manchester United and Arsenal. We'll make our first trip of the afternoon to the Etihad ahead of Manchester City versus Bournemouth, which we're bringing you in full at 4:30. We'll be around the games in the FA Cup and back and forth to the Cricket World Cup final, all after the news on 5 Live with Stuart Clarkson.
The voice of the UK.
This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
Extra police officers are on patrol across the UK rail network following last night's knife attack on a train travelling through Cambridgeshire. Armed police arrested 2 British-born men in their 30s at Huntingdon railway station after an LER service bound for London King's Cross made an emergency stop. 7 people remain in hospital. We're told 2 have life-threatening injuries. The British Transport Police say there's nothing to suggest the attack was a terror incident. Here's our reporter Robbie Callis.
The police will be doing detailed investigations of the suspects' family, you'd expect, of their mobile phones, of their computers. They'll be searching their homes. It could still be that evidence emerges that suggests this could be a terror incident. But if it's not, it sort of leaves people with more questions than answers.
In other news today, the government says it's working to strip Andrew Mountbatten-Windsor of his last military title, Vice Admiral of the Royal Navy. Months of criticism over his friendship with the convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein led to his Prince title being removed last week. Andrew has always denied any wrongdoing. And President Trump's ordered the US military to prepare for possible action against Islamist militants in Nigeria after accusing the government there of failing to protect Christian civilians. Mr. Trump posted on social media that American troops could go in guns a-blazing. Spokesperson for Nigeria's president says they would welcome US cooperation in tackling extremism, but only if it was collaborative.
On BBC iPlayer,
the audience is the unique ingredient of Question Time.
I play for the local brass band.
Work in the kind of EV sector.
I'm vice principal at a local school.
You never know what the audience are going to say.
We love a debate, don't we?
Nice to be able to say something that's really important to me.
That is the joy and the jeopardy.
It gives me the chance to actually take politicians to account.
Bringing power to the people.
Let's get our first question.
Question Time. Thursdays on BBC iPlayer.
This is 5 Live Sports with Steve Crossman.
Listen on BBC Sounds.
West Ham 2, Newcastle 1 at half-time in the Premier League. Second half commentary to come on 5 Live. Then at 4:30, Manchester City versus Bournemouth in full from the Etihad with Alistair Bruce Ball and Paul Robinson. Ali, this feels like a real hot ticket, this one.
Yeah, it promises to be a really entertaining game, doesn't it? I mean, Bournemouth have never beaten Manchester City on their own patch, but did beat them at the Vitality Stadium last season for the first time in their history. But, you know, you're talking about Arsenal's closest challengers in the Premier League playing at the Etihad Stadium, and it's not Manchester City, it's Bournemouth. They're a couple of points ahead of City. They're on the longest unbeaten run in the Premier League. Elie Kroupi, the young French striker's come in, scored 4 goals in 3 games. You know, as you were talking about earlier on the programme, Steve, have dealt with some huge losses in terms of players going out at the back this summer. And somehow, you know, just seem to have kept rolling along. So, you know, Manchester City at home will go at Bournemouth. Bournemouth will definitely fancy that. I fancy goals.
Paul, I don't want to upset Bournemouth fans at all, but it's inevitable when they're playing a team like Manchester City that you end up thinking, well, there will be a list somewhere for what comes next at City after Pep Guardiola. It would be amazing, wouldn't it, if Iraola isn't on it?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you can't underestimate the job he's done there, like what Ali just touched on about the turnover of players and been able to bed the new players into the squad and into the side and get the results that they have in the early part of this season. I mean, the biggest task for them is continuation as to what they've started, for the duration of the league. And if Pep Guardiola is to move on, which at some point he will do, as we know, Areola, you look at him now, he's still only 43 years old, the Spaniard, very fledgling in his managerial career, in all honesty, and I think he'll be high on a lot of people's lists, not just Manchester City's.
It's quite interesting as well, Steve, with the two managers, because Pep Guardiola, I think it was even last season, sort of pinpointed Iraola and the style of Bournemouth's football as the way modern football is going. And again, this is something you were talking about earlier in the show in terms of, the more direct football, playing vertically and set pieces and whatever. And Pep Guardiola, who set the standards, who has given a style of football across the world, really, during his time at Manchester City and Barcelona, now finds himself at Manchester City. Are they playing catch-up? They're certainly doing it a different way, but that clash of styles this afternoon, I think, is going to be fascinating as well.
Yeah, Bournemouth, it feels like we've talked a lot about Premier League football being more direct this season, but Bournemouth have been ahead of that curve, haven't they?
I think they've got a really good mix, a really good variety. I think they'll play in the right areas. They don't put the ball at risk when they don't need to. They're very, very tactically well coached, and that's why we go back to Areola and the way that he's developed the side. You can see a structure and a game plan. We talk about an identity. It's not having an identity. Manchester United have got an identity playing the system that they've got, but they seem to get found out on a regular basis. Areola's able to change their identity, and he's able to change within games, change the system. He mixes it up, as you say. They'll put set players into the box. They'll play slightly longer at times. And this season, what's different, I saw them at Leeds. They weren't at the best this season, but they found a way to get the result, and that's what they've done this season as well.
We should have a fair amount of time to build up to this one after 4 o'clock. Definitely one of the things to tease ahead to, Ali, is obviously we'll do a bit on City and Haaland reliance, but the other thing that I'm really interested in to see is what happens with Rodri, because and we shouldn't have expected his return to be a eureka moment, really, should we, given what he's had to deal with? But that is a real problem for Pep Guardiola at the minute.
Yeah, so he's missed the last 4 games, hasn't he? So came off after 22 minutes at Brentford on the 5th of October. And obviously we saw the impact it had on the team last season. And it's totally unsurprising as well. So when he's back and when he's fully fit and when he's in there, they just tick over like a very smooth machine. And when he's not, I think opponents sense that vulnerability, don't they? Manchester City themselves feel that vulnerability, but I think teams sense it as well, and that they can go at them. And they've tried different ways to get around it when he's not there, but clearly none of them as consistently effective as when he is there. That is why you sign the world's best players, because they are the best.
And I think the shift last year, obviously when Manchester City went on that well-documented poor run, teams found a way of finding their susceptibility. They were all of a sudden they were porous at the back. All of a sudden they weren't this machine that you had to sit in a low block. You had to let them have possession and just try and defend and get to half-time keeping a clean sheet, try and get a draw. Actually, if you came to the Etihad and you played a little bit more open and expansive, you expose their weaknesses rather than allowing them to play to their strengths.
I think what's quite striking as well, Steve, if you look at league appearances so far this season for Manchester City, I think there's 3 ever-presents in there. Reinders is 1, Haaland is 1. Ruben Dias has started 8 out of 9. I think he's the other one. Other than that, I think the closest is Phil Foden on 6. So I know we always talk about Pep Guardiola chopping and changing and Pep Roulette and never keeping the same team. But that, to me, you'd always expect, I think, in a settled team playing really well. And by the way, if Manchester City win this game, they go up to 2nd in the Premier League. And, before the defeat against Villa last weekend, they were unbeaten in 9 games. So I'm not saying there's a problem or there's panic or there's a crisis. But that sort of lack of consistency in selection, apart from 2 or 3 players there, just speaks to me as well that they're not entirely settled.
Yeah, well, we will get the team news about an hour and a quarter before kick-off, so we will bring you that with Ali and Paul Robinson, and we'll get the build-up underway proper from 4 o'clock. In the FA Cup, top of League 2, Walsall are away to Eastleigh of the National League. Jacob Culshaw.
Yeah, and half-time's approaching, Steve. Eastleigh 0, Walsall 1. Evan Weir's header inside 6 minutes, the difference so far. Walsall actually almost doubled their lead after Townsend in the Eastleigh net. That's the half-time whistle. But thankfully, he let his catch slip, and Pierre was there to save on the line. But Eastleigh have been more than a match and should have an equaliser. Half-time here, Eastleigh 0, Walsall 1.
There are 2 more ties to come in the FA Cup first round this afternoon. Gainsborough Trinity against Accrington Stanley is at 5:15. They're underway now at Vale Park. The lowest ranked side left in the competition, 8th tier Malden and Tiptree, are the visitors. Sani Rudravajula.
Yeah, the visitors' press officer Jack has told me 21-year-old striker Anisius Lewis will announce himself to the world today. We'll talk about bursting on the scene. That's what Freddie Sears did for West Ham back in 2008. He's 35 now, but has 15 for Malden and Tiptree this season. A millionaire takeover in February means they are jam-packed with experience. Ex-QPR striker Macaulay Bonne on the bench, but Celtic legend Gary Hooper is injured. And speaking of legends, ex-Man City hero Kevin Horlock's their manager, looking to shop Port Vale, winless in 4 in League One's relegation zone. 4 minutes gone and it's 0-0.
Thank you very much, Sani. So we will keep you right up to date with all of that. Quick reminder in the Women's Super League, the full-time scores: Villa 3, Everton 3, Brighton 2, Manchester United 3, Leicester 1, Arsenal 4, Spurs 2, Liverpool 1. In the FA Cup already it's finished South Shields 1, Shrewsbury Town 3. On BBC Radio Scotland, they're underway at Hampden in the second half of the Scottish League Cup semi-finals. Celtic leading Rangers by 1-0. It's been a really good game. It's felt like an old firm, actually, from 20 years ago. You can listen to that on BBC Radio Scotland now. Rangers, though, down to 10, so a massive advantage there for Martin O'Neill's side. Looks like we're nearly ready to go at the London Stadium then. Remember, we've got Manchester City, Bournemouth to come, but West Ham 2-1 up against Newcastle. Let's get the second half with Clinton Morrison and John Murray.
Well, it's not the bravest thing I've ever said since we're at half-time in the match. West Ham 2, Newcastle 1. But I don't think this is over yet, Clinton.
No way.
And Newcastle, Eddie Howe, going to make a triple change at half-time. That speaks volumes, doesn't it?
It does, John. I'll be able to help you, because I feel Kraft's going to come off, and Cher's going to come on, and then Voltemada's going to come off, and Willis Sula's going to come on, and Ramsey's on, and I think Anthony Gordon's gone off.
You are spot on. What about that? Voltemada and Gordon.
I'm surprised at that.
I mean, I know there's Champions League to come on Wednesday night, but this is the matter in hand, isn't it?
And this is your bread and butter. The Premier League's your bread and butter, and you've done well in the Champions League. You need to concentrate on the Premier League.
So, triple change. Second half about to begin, but there's been a goal in the match we were just hearing about with Sani Rudravajula. Port Vale, Malden and Tiptree. Sani?
97 places between them, and the visitors ahead. Port Vale 0, Malden and Tiptree 1. And would you believe it, it is Anisius Lewis. Cross from the right, brilliant finish from him. Port Vale 0, Malden and Tiptree 1.
Well. And lots of West Ham connections, as
yes,
we heard from Sani, with Kevin Horlock, the manager, and Freddie Sears. So 1-0 to Malden and Tiptree at Port Vale. Second half underway here. We're in the first 20 seconds. Eddie Howe must be angry. He has to be, doesn't he, to make 3 changes at half-time with the way that Newcastle, having taken the early lead, found themselves behind. And here is Tonali, who plays it infield to Bruno Guimaraes. Now Jacob Ramsey, who's getting involved, the number 41. He's had an ankle injury for Newcastle since his move from Aston Villa. Only his 6th appearance for Newcastle United but he's into the midfield, and he's always seemed to me that a player who has the potential for a bright future, but he has had injuries.
He has. He's a top player. I think he'd be a good signing for Newcastle, and they paid a lot of money. I don't think Aston Villa wanted to lose him, but they had to lose him. And sell him for that amount of money, and I think he'd be good here at Newcastle. But I'm surprised about Gordon, in particular Voltemada. He's been good. Like, he's had no service in that first half, and you drag him off. Strange one, but Eddie Howe knows better than us, John.
Well, and of course there is the possibility that there could be injuries.
Yeah.
Who knows? Which would be a big loss ahead of the Champions League match on Wednesday night, and indeed the programme that lies ahead for Newcastle. Brentford away is their next Premier League match. Newcastle, green shirts, white shorts, green socks. I'm sure I've seen them play in black and white here at this stadium before against West Ham, but they're in a change kit today. As Tonali sees the ball played behind him, and then it's worked not out to the right-hand side because West Ham were able to nick it back, and now Diouf bursting forward, but the cover is there for Newcastle United from Chow, who is able to play it back to the edge of the penalty area. So if you weren't with us in the first half, Newcastle taking an early lead through Jacob Murphy in the 4th minute of the match. It's been rounded down to, so Newcastle scoring in the 4th minute just after Jared Bowen had hit the post at the other end, but West Ham fighting their way back in, playing well. Paquetá with a shot that Pope should have saved, but he couldn't keep it out. That was 1-1, and then a Botman own goal just before the break after Wan-Bissaka's low cross, and Botman deflected it into his own goal. West Ham breaking forward now with Jared Bowen, the captain, into the penalty area. Right-footed ball across, and it's lifted over the top of the near post by the falling Somerville, who was under pressure but couldn't get it on target.
I think that's going to be like that in the second half, where Newcastle are going to dominate and West Ham are going to play on the counter-attack. Chiao's now gone to right back, which I don't feel he feels comfortable. He's more of a centre back, John. So you can see Eddie Howe, he's obviously not happy. He's made the changes and he's obviously looking to Willa Sula to spin him behind, because Nick Voldemar would like to come to the ball a lot. Because I'm surprised you don't bring on someone like an Elanga then, who you paid big money for.
Yeah, and the other thing is, so Murphy is playing as the left-sided central midfielder. So
yes,
Joe Linton's
gone out as one of the front three against Wan-Bissaka on that, and that's where he used to play.
Well, he did. I was just going to say, in those early difficult moments, as the Continentals say, for Joe Linton, when the St James's Park faithful were undecided about him. Remember, he was signed for £40 million under Steve Bruce, wasn't he? But Steve Bruce knew that there was something there.
He knew there's a player. Yeah, they have a moan at him, but they should thank him for bringing Joe Linton to the club, because he's been very good.
West Ham 2, Newcastle 1. Commentary coming from 4:30 on Manchester City Bournemouth. But Newcastle, and here is Joe Linton on the left-hand side. Right-footed ball into the box. That's cleared away by Todibo. You could almost see, couldn't you, the confidence beginning to come back for West Ham in the first half when they began to play. Paquetá is so important as well, and he's been much better. West Ham just threatening to lose it on the edge of their own box. Fernandez cleared away though for Newcastle, for West Ham, up towards the halfway line. Comes back to Wan-Bissaka. He'll get an assist, won't he, for the own goal? Does work like that as well, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. You're right, John. He will get an assist.
Ball played forward by Chow, but that will run all the way through to Areola. So 4 minutes played in the second half. I really feel that we've not seen an end to the goals in this match. So you can pile your cash on West Ham 2, Newcastle 1 being the final score. But no, I do think there will be goals, don't you?
No, I think there were goals. I just said to our producer George before, this won't be at the end of it. I was surprised, but I still thought Gordon and Voldemar would be on the pitch, but I still think there'll be more goals. I think Newcastle have a lot. Even if it doesn't work, I think he'll give it 15 minutes and he'll probably bring on Elanga and Harvey Barnes.
Still people in their droves coming back to their seats.
What do they do?
And we're 5 minutes into the second half.
I don't get that, John.
Can't you just watch the match?
Exactly.
Chow. Now the ball into the West Ham left-back area, but that is cleared away by Somerville. Here's Paquetá, brings it down beautifully, tight area. Tonali leans into him. He wanted a free kick. Referee Jones says no. So Newcastle with Jacob Murphy. Jacob Murphy then weaves his way around Callum Wilson, gives it to Joe Linton, edge of the box. Now to the right-hand side, Bruno Guimaraes. He crosses, but that hits Diouf, bounces back into the West Ham box, but then Todibo just puts his right foot through it and clears it away downfield.
They can't get up, John. They're too deep, and that's what I'm saying. Callum Wilson's isolated. The defence have to get up the pitch and trust that they can keep that high line, and if they want to race with the strikers, Newcastle strikers, they can.
Yeah, so that quite a shuffle by Eddie Howe at half-time. Long pass forward. Wan-Bissaka heads that away. It's come out to the feet of Dan Burn. Here is Jacob Ramsey. £40 million Newcastle United paid for him towards the end of the transfer window when it was all happening. I mean, by rights, it doesn't seem right, does it? He was such a part of the development of Aston Villa, yet for the reasons that there are, the financial reasons, he ends up leaving Aston Villa and going to Newcastle United.
It's like Elliot Anderson when Newcastle had to lose him to Nottingham Forest. Two really talented players that you probably want to keep in your squad, and it's not right. It's not right. I don't think it's right at all.
No, Elliot Anderson, who ended up going and watching Newcastle United as a fan in the League Cup final last season when they ended the trophy drought. And I noticed there is a little bit of talk, isn't there, that he might eventually end up back at Newcastle again. But anyway, that is for the future. West Ham winning 2-1. West Ham on course for what would be their first win, their first point at home this season. Second bottom West Ham. Newcastle United, they'll be kicking themselves if they don't win this after being 1-0 up, but they're trailing. Murphy swings the ball across, but Areola comes and makes a comfortable catch. It just drops into his gloves and he walks out towards the edge of the box. 7 minutes played in the second period. It's quite evenly poised.
Are they doing that counting? Because he looked like he had it for about 10 seconds.
Yes, he is. He is. He's got his arm raised in the air. referee Jones. We've seen very little of that, have we? After all of the talk about the goalkeepers will only have 8 seconds, we've seen very, very little of it this season. Throwing for West Ham, taken by Paquetá. Somerville takes it on. Newcastle have got 2 men on him. Into the box now, left foot ball across. Took a deflection, but it took it closer to Pope. Still, it had spin on it, but he was able to kill it with his palms and then collect it. The Newcastle goalkeeper after his faux pas in the first half. A faux Pope. Plays it to the left. Ramsey through towards Dan Burn, pushing well forward. Now Joe Linton over there on the flanks, but that's a misplaced pass by Ramsey. Gives possession back. Mateus Fernandes, relegated with Southampton last season, does well under pressure. Plays it up to Callum Wilson, starting against his former club, but he couldn't find the pass forward. Groans from the West Ham fans. He actually passed the ball straight into Botman. West Ham 2, Newcastle 1. Still Celtic 1, Rangers 0 in the semi-final. Ball played forward for Newcastle to break. Here's Osula into the action for the first time now. Osula in the penalty area, trying to find a position to shoot, which he does, but lots of defenders back in there, and it was deflected away across the pitch. And actually, in the end, out of play for what is given as a West Ham throw. And there's a West Ham man down there.
I think it's Fernandes. I think he goes to try and block the shot from him, and Wan-Bissaka try and block the shot from Osula. But there, Callum Wilson has to do better. He has to find Jared Bowen, and if not, take on Fabian Schär. But then you know when you're playing against your old team, John, you know if you can run your centre half or you can't. And probably in training you've done it many a times and thought, I can't run him.
There has been another goal in the Port Vale, Malden and Tiptree FA Cup tie. Sani Radravajala.
Not only that, there's just been 2 goals for the home side. Port Vale 2, Malden and Tiptree 1. The first from Rory Patton, given space to turn and shoot, and the second just volleyed in from a floaty cross. George Hall finishing off. Port Vale 2, Malden and Tiptree 1.
And there is commentary on that right now on Sports Extra 3 on your BBC Sounds app, and it is still Eastleigh 0, Walsall 1, which is on Sports Extra 2. The Women's World Cup final is on Sports Extra. Here on 5 Live, West Ham 2, Newcastle 1. Ball just deflected out of play for a throw-in to West Ham. I think Mateus Fernandes is okay, Clinton?
Yeah, he's okay. He just made the tackle there. I think him and Potts have done well in that midfield. There's energy. I like Thomas Souček, but he doesn't give you that energy when you're in trouble. He can get you goals and stuff, but he's not got the legs in there anymore to get around. So I think these two are the best pairing at the moment.
Yeah, West Ham team selection today: Areola in goal, Wan-Bissaka, Todibo, Kilman and Diouf, then Potts and Fernandes. Potts' first start in a competitive match for the West Ham first team. Then Bowen, Paquetá and Somerville, and Callum Wilson up front. He's yet to have a chance, isn't he, against his former club. And Newcastle rejigged Newcastle at half-time with Pope in goal, Chow at right back, substitute Schär and Botman, Burn at left back, then Guimarães, Tonali and Jacob Ramsey the substitute, Murphy on the right, Joe Linton on the left, and the gangly Osula up front, the Danish under-21 international who has shown more this season.
Yes, he has. I like the way he described it, gangler, but he is like that, Will Osula. But yeah, he's done well, because there was maybe talk of him leaving in the window, and he's done well. Every time he comes on, he makes a difference and an impact.
Yeah, this is the 8th consecutive match that he's come on as a substitute. He's in the action here. The ball deflects away, and it's a throw into Newcastle down the right-hand side. Going back to Vale Park again, Sani Radravajala.
It's now Port Vale 3, Malden and Tiptree 1. A second goal for Rory Payton, given space inside the area, and this could be any score at the moment. Port Vale 3, Malden and Tiptree 1. 18 minutes gone.
Still Celtic 1, Rangers 0. We'll be back there with Gavin Wallace. They'll be into the second half. That was also a 2 o'clock kick-off in the League Cup semi-final. Newcastle, Eddie Howe comes to the edge of the coaching area, watching his team, playing it forward and down into the West Ham left back area, but Osula can't keep it in, and that kind of sums up Osula. He can do the dramatic and he can do the exciting, but there he miscontrolled it out of play for a goal kick.
He has to tidy up on the basic stuff, but you're right, he can do the unextraordinary thing, but the simple things he has to be a lot better. But he's still young and learning, John.
Yes, as I think I always say when I commentate on him, and it's a bit of a stereotype, but he is something of a bag of tricks.
Yes, he is.
Osula. Team news is in at Manchester City, Bournemouth. Fascinating match you've got, Alistair Bruce Ball, I think.
Yes, can't remember, John, if it's bag of tricks or box of tricks. I'll let you debate that. 4 changes for Manchester City from the last league outing, the defeat to Villa last weekend. O'Reilly, Gonzalez, Doku and Cherki come in. Out goes Stonesy's on the bench. Reinders, who doesn't start a Premier League game for the first time this season. Bob and Savino. Rodri's on the bench. 2 changes for Bournemouth from the 2-0 win against Nottingham Forest. Diakite and Brooks are in for Milosavljevic and Kluivert. Diakite, who's sporting a very fetching leather satchel on the pre-match Bournemouth team walk.
Yes, a bag, you might call it.
That's the style. They all have their bags now. A box of tricks, bag of tricks. I think they're both the same now.
What we do know is that it's a fox in the box, it's not a fox in the bag.
Yeah, that's right.
And that refers to something that Ali and I were talking about on the Unmissable Commentators View podcast, which you will find if you search Football Daily on the BBC Sounds app. Right, yes, so commentary to come with Ali and Paul Robinson from 4:30. West Ham winning 2-1 against Newcastle United. Got just over half an hour to play. And I think there might be another change in the offing as Ramsey wins the ball back.
Maybe West Ham might be making one where Souček, I could see maybe getting his shirt on.
Okay. Do you think as Newcastle play it forward, that's a lovely ball in from the right-hand side by Jacob Murphy. Gimrange, now it finds its way to Osula. Osula still going on the edge of the penalty area, then back to Tonali. Dan Burn joins in. Burn with the cross, but it hits Wan-Bissaka and skews straight away behind for a corner to Newcastle from the left-hand side. And there, if I may say so, Osula gives the full box of tricks, bag of tricks style of play.
That's where he's really good. I feel Ramsey might have a problem. He's only just come back from injury. I hope he's all right. Yeah, he's all right. So I just feel he needs a run of games at the moment to get his fitness up, because as we said, he's a talented player. But yeah, Souček is getting ready. It may be probably for Callum Wilson. They might put Paquetá out wide and put Souček in the middle just to stiffen it up a bit.
Corner then for Newcastle. West Ham very susceptible, conceding goals from corners this season. Tonali swirls it into the near post. Goalkeeper Areola comes, takes charge of that, as he has done actually on a couple of occasions, and it's punched away and it's out of play, and we will see the change. And spot on, Clinton. It is Callum Wilson who just looking down to our right, the Newcastle fans in their section. Yeah, there's plenty of applause for Callum Wilson from them. He was very popular. Well, he's a very popular guy, isn't he, within the game, Callum Wilson?
Definitely, and he did a great time at Newcastle, and hopefully he can score goals for West Ham. But he's put a shift in. It's hard up there by yourself when you're not seeing much of the ball. So I think he's done well.
And the also highly experienced Thomas Souček is coming on to replace him. So exactly as you say, Clinton. So now Thomas Souček, part of that midfield with Freddie Potts and Mateus Fernandes, that have, I guess, played together in training, but never as a three in a match before, because Potts has never started before. Burn with this long throw, level with the edge of the penalty area. There's plenty of room to wind yourself up for a long throw in this stadium. Here it goes, but it's headed away by Wan-Bissaka, who sprinted forward, got a full forehead to it. Jacob Murphy now, the Newcastle goal scorer. Left-footed ball, high, towards the edge of the box. Headed up in the air, actually, then headed further forward. But that goes absolutely nowhere, off Botman. And Areola is able to collect possession of the ball. West Ham 2, Newcastle 1.
Hold on, you know where Souček's playing? John, look where he's playing.
Oh, we weren't expecting that.
He's playing centre forward.
Were we?
Wow. That is how short they are on centre forwards. But surely you just...
Is he going to stay there?
Well, it looks like it. Surely you just put Paquetá to the right and put Bowen through the middle. Or put Paquetá as a false number 9. Because Souček will do his defensive duties better than Paquetá, but he throws so much surprises, Nuno. You just don't know what's coming next.
This must have been part of the planning.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it definitely would have been.
With Wilson starting the game today.
Because they usually have a young boy called Marshall on the bench, but he's not here.
No, he's not.
Not involved.
The Northern Ireland international. As Newcastle still behind. West Ham still in front after the own goal that was scored just before half-time. Ramsey in possession in the centre circle. You're absolutely right, Clinton. Souček very much the furthest forward, the number 28. Can you remember seeing him play there before?
Never.
I can't.
Well, he's not running in behind, that's for sure. So he's going to have to be the target man.
Said a man who knows. There's a foul for Newcastle. Murphy was just caught late there, just forward of the centre circle. Going to go back to Vale Park again in the FA Cup. Sani Rudravajala.
Well, Malden and Tiptree poked the bear, scoring after 6 minutes. Is now Port Vale 4, Malden and Tiptree 1. Devante Calder laces on the score sheet. 25 gone. Port Vale 4, Malden and Tiptree 1.
Wonder what's happening at Hampden Park. What's the latest with you, Gavin Wallace?
65 on the clock, John. Celtic 1, Rangers 0. And Rangers just started to come into this a little bit despite being down to 10 men. They've got a free kick to try and push forward. It's 1-0 Celtic.
1-0 Celtic. 2-1 West Ham. West Ham inching closer to their first home win, their first home points of the season. They've only won one match in all competitions this season, but Newcastle attack. Chow with the cross, that's headed up and away by Todibo, still hasn't cleared the penalty area. Murphy's going to try a shot from the edge of the box, from the angle, but dragged it wide, and it rolled well wide of goalkeeper Areola and behind goalkeeper.
But you can't play like this the whole game. Like, I mean, I know they're winning, and I kind of get it, but Nuno can't play like it. It feels like he's gone back to Nottingham Forest days, but you got to have a recognised striker, and you haven't got that in Souček. So I don't understand why you don't change it. I can understand Paquetá's been good in there, but for the sake of the team, push him out wide and put Bowen through the middle. That can get you up the pitch, John.
Well, it's going to be a Newcastle change next, and it's Harvey Barnes who's coming on. And once, in fact, we won't see that change now, although the ball is headed out of play, and I think we will see the change now. Souček went up for it, and has actually fallen quite heavily on the ground.
Must be Joe Linton. It can't be.
You would think so, wouldn't you? Unless it's Ramsey who's got to come off. No, it's Tottenham.
I can't read it. I can't read Newcastle subs. I can usually read everyone else's. You know what it'll do? You'll put Murphy right back. Chia will go into centre half, and Barnes will come on the right hand side.
Okay.
So Murphy will go and play as a right back.
Okay, all right. I'm gonna believe you there, because I trust you, as I always say. Yeah, you're right. That is what's happening. So certainly Eddie Howe is switching things around in an attempt to find a way through here. We'll obviously find out post-match. You'll hear the interview later, see what the situation is with Gordon and Voltemada, who went off at half-time. But we need an update from Eastleigh in the FA Cup as well. Jacob Culshaw.
Yeah, and Walsall have doubled their lead. John, Eastleigh 0, Walsall 2. Daniel Kanu rifling one into the roof of the Eastleigh net. It feels like such a sucker punch. Just 5 minutes into the second half. Eastleigh 0, Walsall 2.
Yes, we've got Jacob Overload this afternoon. Jacob Murphy, Jacob Ramsey, Jacob Culshaw. As West Ham are able to put Newcastle under pressure. Good work there. That's what West Ham supporters want to see, that kind of thing. And to put the effort in and block the clearance, and it's a throw to West Ham level with the edge of the Newcastle box.
Yeah, I think it's what any fans want to see. If you go across that pitch, you want to give 100%, and that's what Fernandes has done, definitely.
He's got a free kick, Fernandes, for that. And West Ham are on the go slow here. I think they're taking the chance to have a breather. Souček's okay, by the way, after the bang that he took, but it's a free kick. Newcastle have got to defend this. I think I'll send some of the Newcastle players chuntering away to referee Jones. Joe Linton walks away, palms apart. He's not very happy. So a free kick to West Ham. Now a third goal for West Ham, that would be dream time, wouldn't it? In comes the free kick to the near post, and I think Souček with a touch on that, and it was parried away by Pope. Comes back, West Ham played in again, comes off a defender's head, wide of the goal, corner West Ham.
Yeah, it was a well-worked free kick, from Paquetá. He just whips it into an area, and I think Souček just gets across, but I don't think he gets much on it, and it's a good save from Nick Pope.
However, Thomas Souček, he was like the fox in the box. He
definitely was.
Got a toe end to it, and Pope had to make the save. Still West Ham 2, Newcastle 1. West Ham take the corner short. Swung in by Juve to the back post, headed across, and Pope had to make the save and push it up and over the top from Kilman beyond the far post.
Yeah, it's another good save from Nick Pope. Even though he was at fault for the first goal, he's made 3 or 4 big saves, and it's another good save. Good header from Kilman, but yeah, good parry over the top from Nick Pope.
That's a header in each half from Max Kilman that Pope has had to save. So another West Ham corner. There is expectancy inside the West Ham stadium from the home supporters. Corner taken short, makes its way back out towards the far side, and then Fernandes back to Somerville, taken up again by Mateus Fernandes. That's a good looking ball into the Newcastle box, which is dealt with, although not. Somerville's won it back. Somerville trying to find a position, crowded box, little stab back to Todibo, and then Bourne curls it into the back post, bounces down, Souček with a chance, it's in! It's the third goal for West Ham, and wouldn't you know it, it's into the net. No, the flag is up. Freddie Potts put it in the 6-yard area. His first start in a competitive match for West Ham. He thought he'd got the third, but the offside flag is up and the goal looks as though it's going to be ruled out, although VAR are having a look.
And the camera pan straight to his dad. His dad showed no emotions. I don't care if I'm on a coach. If my son scored, he's offside. He's offside. Souček's right foot is just offside. So let me tell you something. It is an unbelievable spot to see that, but he is offside. Souček's right foot is just offside. Unless my eyes are bad, John, but I think he's just offside.
I think you're right. And it's Nick Greenhalgh who's the assistant on the far side, who's one of the top men, I think, isn't he? Nick Greenhalgh. And people criticise the assistants. They get almost all of those calls right. It is remarkable how often they get it right. Of course, you get the odd one wrong. That's because they're human.
Yeah, of course they're human. Everyone makes mistakes, but he got that spot on.
Confirmation that the goal is ruled out, and what talk about a dream third goal for West Ham if they'd been able to get it. That was absolute dream time for Freddie Potts, son of the West Ham coach Steve Potts, but it's ruled out and it's still West Ham 2, Newcastle 1.
Yeah, that would have been a big goal for him, and he's played well. So yeah, obviously his dad would have been proud, the whole family would have been proud, but that's why technology's there to help.
It is. Souček, who was involved in that as well. What a good substitution that has been already. Souček been involved in the action. Could have got himself a couple of goals.
Definitely, could have.
And West Ham could have had this wrapped up as Bourne now for West Ham. 25 yards out, left foot shot, but lacked power. And Pope was able to go down to his left. And
it's like a pass back from Jarrod Bowen. He'll be disappointed. It's like Nick Pope's already warmed. But yeah, good play from West Ham. Good ball from Kilman. He's done well so far. As of yet, he's defended really well.
So we have 20 minutes to play. Fascinated to see how this works out. It's been a very enjoyable experience.
It has.
And listen to this now as well. Come on, you Hammers. And for once in this stadium, what are we? 20 minutes to go and almost everyone's still here.
Exactly, they've not left yet, John. And I've heard no booing as of yet, so it's been good. Pure positivity.
Surreal. As Newcastle try a shot from distance from Cher. He can score from distance. I've seen him do that on a number of occasions in different settings. Here's Paquetá, scored the West Ham equaliser.
He's enjoying himself. He is enjoying. When he plays like this, he's a joy to watch. I've said it many a times.
Sliced clearance from Areola, which is headed infield by Juve. Newcastle are going to take possession again. Tonali, little pass to Ramsey. Ramsey still carrying it forward, all industry, and then touches the ball to the left-hand side. Bruno Guimaraes, he makes himself available. Bruno Guimaraes, then out to the left-hand side it goes. Joe Linton is still over there. Dan Burns actually made his way up into the penalty area. It's played back to the edge of the box, now finds its way to Tonali, 25 yards out. Tonali, right-footed clip pass. Here's Barnes on the right-hand side, the latest of the substitutes to come onto the field. Murphy behind him, and then back it goes towards the halfway line. It's longest period of sustained possession, I think, that we've seen from Newcastle for a while. And then Murphy's ball into the box. Barnes does well, turns and tries to put it across, but Todibo went with him and blocked it behind. And the assistant on this side says the final touch was off the Newcastle man, Barnes, and it's a goal kick.
Yeah, good defending from Todibo. He sees the danger because Juve switches off again. Needs to start checking his shoulders, but yeah, I think it's good defending from Todibo. Todibo and Kilman, I've criticised them this season, but they've defended ever so well, and that was tight, the Souček one.
So 2-1 it is after the Potts goal was ruled out. The semi-automated system backed up the decision of the assistant. So Freddie Potts, but starting for West Ham today, 24 years since his dad started his last Premier League match, Steve Potts, back in 2001.
Brilliant.
And our producer George just had a little look back at the team that Steve Potts was in, and it included Lampard, Cole and Di Canio.
Not a bad team, that, is it?
No.
They're not bad players, those, are they?
No, not bad at all. 2-1 to West Ham, inching towards victory. As Murphy, good challenge by Juve. Paquetá takes it on now, left-footed pass, lovely pass. Bowen got a touch on that, but it took him wide out into the full-back position. Now he's back into the box. That's blocked by Chow, but he's able to use Wan-Bissaka behind him, puts his foot on the ball, drags it back, little bit of nifty footwork from Wan-Bissaka, threatens to get away from him. He's still under control of it though, and then Bowen back to Fernandes, and now a bit of swagger from West Ham. Not seen much of that this season. Here is Potts. Oh, that's a nice pass through to Wan-Bissaka. His cross deflected, but deflected into the path of Cher, who's able to clear it.
You see where it's a great ball and good play. He's offside, but there's no one in the middle of the box. He's waiting, and that's when you don't have a natural striker.
Where's
who wants to
Souček?
He's outside the box. He's still got his defensive head on.
Of course he is. Come on, Clinton. Thomas Souček, 30 years old. A lot of miles on the clock.
Yeah, definitely.
Another change coming. Anthony Elanga. I'd forgotten about him.
Yeah, paid a lot of money for him. Yeah.
I was thinking he was good. Yeah, and still at £55 million. Nottingham Forest man. It's been mainly used as a substitute so far, or in recent times anyway. Started the season in the side. Newcastle coming forward again as they play from left to right towards the end where their supporters are. And Murphy, Ramsey thought he'd been fouled there, but free kick not given. West Ham have dropped everyone back, including the auxiliary striker Souček, so they're all back defending the lead that West Ham have. Played square by Chow to Tonali, then back out towards the right hand side. The cross deep from Murphy to the back post, but Wan-Bissaka got his head to it. It's going to be kept in play. It is by Joe Linton. Joe Linton then couldn't find a teammate in green. That was intercepted. Still Newcastle. Nifty stuff. Ball played into the West Ham box, headed away by Todibo, and he's been able to find a teammate in the shape of the captain, the West Ham captain, Jared Bowen, who passes it forward, but it's behind Souček, who had to slam the notional brakes on. But Newcastle have got possession again. Dan Burn, little pass forward towards Joe Linton, then square to Bruno Guimaraes. Now it's clipped into the box by Cher, but that's cleared away by Kilman. And back to the halfway line it goes. Newcastle will start again. If you weren't listening earlier, Clinton, right at the start of the match, spotted a little tactical change by Nuno to move Kilman as the right central defender and Todibo as the left. And they have looked quite secure. As Newcastle played in again from the right from Murphy, but it's deflected back for West Ham. Somerville's going to take this up. Somerville now running beyond the centre circle, not at full tilt, but he's got options either side of him. He's going to use Fernandes, whose pass is cut out on the edge of the box, but it bounces to Wan-Bissaka. Bowen's there on the right hand side. Bowen in the full back position, taking it towards the dead ball line, looks for the cross, gets the deflection he wanted. West Ham win the corner.
Yeah, they do. It's good play. They are defending well. They're defending ever so well. They're finding it difficult to break them down, Newcastle are.
So Murphy coming off. So now who's going to be right back?
Yeah, that's a good point, because you want goals. So you won't put Barnes to right back, will he? So could he sacrifice someone in midfield?
Just going to play with
there's a back three. Maybe with Burn, a back three, and just play with the wing backs.
Yeah. And Harvey Barnes going
on
to
the right, and then you would say on the right, Elanga to the left, and then Joe Linton. It's a difficult one, isn't it? Can go up, can push up front, or closer.
Or Elanga could play.
Elanga
Barnes
could play
go to the left.
Yeah, you're right.
Into the last 15 minutes, corner to West Ham. Here's the delivery, left-footed towards the back post. Pope comes and makes the catch. Stretching for it, carries it right out towards the edge of the box. Still in possession. West Ham supporters saying, come on, where's your 8 seconds? But he does underarm it out. Passes it forward now. Takes a touch off Osula. Osula now down into the full-back position. Lots of jiggery-pokery going on from Osula, then back to Tonali, and then infield to Bruno Guimaraes, who's like... It was like the proverbial dance floor, wasn't it, from Osula? Ball into the box. Ramsey takes it down, hooks it across. That's headed away by Wan-Bissaka, edge of the area, and then on the edge of the box, Bruno Guimaraes goes for goal, but snatches and hits it high over the top. And to Glasgow, because Gavin Wallace...
Penalty Rangers. Ralston dives inside the box and hits it with his elbow, John. Rangers are down 1-0. James Tavernier, captain, steps up now, takes that stuttered run with the right foot, and it's a goal! 10-man Rangers have pulled one out of the box, the bag, whatever you can call it. They're back in this game. They're down to 10 men, but half of Hampden goes crazy. James Tavernier from the spot. Celtic 1, Rangers 1.
Well, that is drama right there at Hampden in the semi-final. Here in the West Ham Stadium, Kyle Walker-Peters comes on to replace Crescencio Somerville, Clinton.
Yeah, I don't understand it, because you're struggling to get out. He's the one player who can take you up the pitch. I know he's putting a shift, but I just hope they don't concede for Nuno's sake, because it's negative substitutions. I can understand you're going to shore it up a bit, but Somerville's taking you up the pitch at the moment, and you don't want to be defending for the next 12 minutes.
Well, he's off 12 minutes. West Ham could be their first win at home this season, their first victory in this stadium since, believe it or not, February. The first anywhere for West Ham since August, and their first under Nuno. But Newcastle on the attack. Newcastle with Joe Linton back centrally now, and it is, isn't it? Alanga on the right, Barnes on the left. Here is Alanga, the recently arrived Alanga. Ramsey tries to play it forward. Paquetá got a touch on that as Alanga then puts a challenge in on him. Bounces out of play. Paquetá wanted a free kick. He's waving his arms around, but it is given as a throw-in. Paquetá complains to the referee, complains to the assistant. He shakes his head. He walks away. If West Ham win this, he's probably man of the match, isn't he?
Yeah, I'd agree with you on that, definitely. I think he's been outstanding.
But they've not won it yet.
No, long way to go.
Still the sun shining on the West Ham Stadium as Byrne takes this long throw to the near post, but that's headed up and away by Juve. Bounces off Byrne, and then Byrne puts in the challenge on Walker-Peters. In fact, he got the ball, not given us a free kick. The West Ham fans are furious. They wanted a free kick. Played out to Alanga on the right-hand side. Alanga's able to play it back to Tonali, who had to stretch for that, the Italian. Left-foot ball into the box, but blocked by Potts on the edge of the area. Comes back to Tonali for Newcastle. Tonali again. It's very congested. West Ham have got everyone back there. They are fighting. That's what Jared Bourne called for. And then a misplaced pass by Tonali, and Guimaraes breaks down between two of Newcastle's most dependable players. Hit Guimaraes, ran away through for a goal kick. And we have less than 10 minutes to go now, and West Ham 2-1 up.
They are, and that's when you can see that Paquetá's had a good game. He's got cramp, and he's suffering with a bit of cramp there. He felt a bit, but he said to the manager, I'm okay. But Newcastle struggled today to create anything. Even here, dominating the second half. How many times have they tested Areola?
I'm looking at my list here, and I've actually not written anything down in the second half. West Ham take the goal kick, comes off Joe Linton's head, but back to Cher. Scored a late goal last weekend against Fulham to beat Marco Silva's side, but that was at St James's Park. West Ham heading it away through Potts, comes back to Newcastle United, and then in comes the challenge. Good challenge by Fernandes, actually, to win the ball back from Bruno Guimaraes. West Ham break forward with Bowen. Bowen, square from him. Matheus Fernandes with a shot, but that's blocked. Took too long. Just got the ball under control by then. The defender was in front of him to block it. Paquetá on the left-hand side. Oh, lovely flick from Paquetá to take it away from Alanga. Runs into the box, then gives it back to Juve. Excellent footwork from him as well. Walker-Peters has some space. Walker-Peters ball across, took a deflection off Tonali, and the ball skittered through straight to Pope, who was able to claim it.
Yeah, it's good play again from Paquetá. Just like he's playing in the playground, doing ever so well. But Fernandes has had a good game as well. I think he's been very industrious in that midfield.
Yeah, he's done well. It's good selection by Nuno Espirito Santo. So it's still Celtic 1, Rangers 1 in the League Cup semi-final. Can't be long left there. Also a 2 o'clock kickoff like this one could be bound for extra time. In the FA Cup, Walsall, it would look, are heading through. Eastleigh 0, Walsall 2, and Port Vale 4-1 up on Malden and Tiptree. That is still in the first half. Newcastle coming forward. Osula, it angles it back to the edge of the area, but that's cleared away by West Ham. Played it straight to Sears, and it's out of play in the other halfway line. So where's the balance at Hampden Park in the semi-final now, Gavin Wallace?
With 5 minutes to go, it's with Celtic. Callum Osmond was through one-on-one with the goalkeeper. Butland had to stand up well. He put it in, out for a corner. Just as it comes towards the back post, it's headed away, and Rangers will breathe a sigh of relief. It's still 1-1, John.
Still 2-1 West Ham here. Commentary on Manchester City Bournemouth to come right here, but the ball is played forward to the West Ham captain Bowen. Bowen hasn't got much support. It's arriving now, the claret and blue shirts. Mateus Fernandes, here is Paquetá, 25 yards out, the flick by Souček, but wasn't able to flick it to Bowen. Newcastle got it away. We've reached the stage of this match in the 84th minute. If West Ham, and Newcastle are having more of the ball just now, but if West Ham are able to break away and grab that third goal, you would think that would be it. Newcastle still without a win away from home in the Premier League this season, and there inevitably will be questions about their away form if they lose here, and that's what they're doing with this scoreline. It's won back by Bruno Guimaraes though. Bruno Guimaraes, back it goes to Chow, now Joe Linton. Jacob Ramsey finds some space for himself, had to skip around Paquetá, then it's back to Tonali, he lifts it forward. Ramsey continued his run down into the full-back position, went down rather easily there, and actually Robert Jones doesn't give it as a free kick, and the assistant on this side, Neil Davis, said it was handled by Ramsey on the ground, so it's a free kick to West Ham. Big cheer from the home supporters.
Yeah, you felt a bit of contact there, Ramsey, and he went down, but yeah, I think the linesman gets it spot on.
Going to see another change because Igor Julio is going to come on, and change. We'll see
Fernandes. I don't get it unless he's
Fernandes off from the midfield.
Unless he's knackered and he can't physically go anymore, and he has put a shift on, and he's asked to come off. Don't take him off. He's the one who's giving you the energy in the midfield.
Yeah, to use the technical phrase. Igor Julio then on loan from Brighton. And here, great name for the public address announcer to call out, isn't it? Igor Julio. And he gives it the full whack, so he's onto the field. George has done a job here. Our producer Clinton, he's discovered that Thomas Souček started out playing as a striker for his hometown club, Slovan Havličkov.
Our producer George is brilliant, but that's why he ended up going back to midfield, because you can see on today's evidence he's not a natural striker.
Have you ever been to Havličkov?
No,
Clinton?
No, I've never been. I'd like to go there one day.
I would too. Tonali, you'll hear commentary from the Czech Republic, or Czechia as they call themselves now, on Tuesday night when Arsenal go there. Newcastle on the attack, an early start that, don't miss it, 5:45 Tuesday, starting our Champions League and indeed Europa League commentaries this week. 2-1 in the Premier League to West Ham. Sun still shining, literally and metaphorically, on West Ham. Ball played through for Joe Linton, but he can't latch onto that, and it's behind for a goal kick. And there are 4 minutes to play. It's got a bit of a cup tie feel, hasn't it?
It has. It feels like West Ham are hanging on, but there's not much danger to their goal, or to Areola's goal. And even though it's kind of attack against defence, West Ham have probably looked the most likely in the second half to score, but they've not had a lot of possession, John.
And Newcastle are having a little bit of a one step forward, one step back
season, that's how it's been.
They?
Yeah, you're right. At home, very good. We spoke about it earlier on in the show at St James's Park, but they have to be better on away from home, especially with the players that you've got. I'm just surprised about the substitutions he made.
Yeah, raucous night on Wednesday in the Cup. I know it's no excuse that, you've got to back it up. If you're a top team, or a top team as they call them, you have to win and win again.
Of course you do.
But made 6 changes from that starting lineup, Eddie Howe, but the expectation was that they would come here and make things worse for West Ham. In fact, West Ham have put in what probably is their best performance of the season. Joe Linton passing it down the left-hand side. Here's Harvey Barnes. Barnes now carrying the ball at his feet. Infield to Bruno Guimaraes, 25 yards out. West Ham got lots of claret and blue shirts up. Cross comes over from the left-hand side, but cleared away comfortably. Out of play for a throw into Newcastle. 2.5 minutes of the 90 to play. Newcastle take the throw. Chow, then Bruno Guimaraes, first time touch, takes him away from Bowen. Tonali, but Walker-Peters forces Tonali to go back to the halfway line, and then it finds its way out here to the right-hand side to Elanga, Tonali, and then Bruno Guimaraes, but Potts does the job against him. Defensive midfield play. Joe Linton, Chow, Barnes again on the left-hand side. Barnes in the orange boots, infield to Joe Linton now. Bruno Guimaraes, edge of the area, very, very congested. It's clipped across, but overhit by Barnes, high over everyone and behind, and more relieved cheers and applause from the West Ham supporters.
Yeah, it's been like that for Newcastle for the majority of the game. The one bit of quality we've seen was Murphy's goal. Other than that, Newcastle have been really disappointed this afternoon.
Yeah, we've been disappointing as well. Clinton promised more goals at half-time.
Yeah, we did, but usually we do get them, and you expected more. I didn't expect from West Ham, because they got something to hold on to, but definitely from Newcastle.
Yep, so I think we owe an apology.
Yeah, we do.
The listeners.
Definitely.
It's all about apologies.
It is.
In 2025, isn't it? Apologise and everything's all right.
Exactly.
Here's the goal kick downfield. Joe Linton heads it forward. Comes back for Newcastle. Fabian Schär. Newcastle send the green shirts forward. Still Schär in possession. West Ham backing away, retreating back into position. Tonali, then to Bruno Guimaraes, and make it 1 minute to go of the 90. West Ham closing in on victory. Ball forward. Diouf is able to get up and head that out of play. Throw in for Newcastle here. Tonali is going to take it. No long throw. Back to Bruno Guimaraes. He controls it, right footed ball all the way to the far side of the penalty area. Wan-Bissaka up, hair flying all over the place, heads it away back to Barnes, and then Barnes receives it again from Chow. Barnes, infield, centre field, Bruno Guimaraes. Tonali's there as well, drags it back with his right foot, plays it to Elanga. Elanga clips the ball across, and it's headed goalwards, but straight at Areola, who's able to claim it. The header from Osula in the middle, but straight at the West Ham goalkeeper.
Yeah, it was good play down the right. That was the best bit of play Newcastle have had, and you think when the ball came in, it's a tame header from Osula, straight at Areola.
Back to Hampden, not far away from the final whistle with you, Gavin Wallace.
Not away at all, still one each. Rio Hatate Jones had such a good chance. It was a lovely passage of play from Celtic. Forrest plays it back out to him, and all he had to do was keep it down. He blazed it over the bar, one each.
And it is half-time in the 3 o'clock kick-off in the FA Cup. Port Vale 4, Malden and Tiptree 1 after the non-league side took the lead. Kevin Horlocks, Malden and Tiptree. Newcastle. And we are into 5 minutes of added time. And West Ham supporters now, well, Nuno Espirito Santo in the match programme today, the £4 match programme, asked the West Ham supporters to do their bit, and that's what they're trying to do now. Roll West Ham through to, well, I have to say, an unexpected victory. That's what it would be, even though they're on their home turf. Bruno Guimaraes now to the right-hand side. It would be quite the deflator if Newcastle score. Elanga swings it in, a high foot though by Byrne. That's given us a free kick on Souček, and it is a free kick to West Ham in their own box. A goal in the Eastleigh-Walsall Cup tie. Jacob Coulshaw.
Yeah, that'll be that. John Eastleigh nil, Walsall 3. Jamal Mack coming off the bench, a mix up at the back from Eastleigh, and Mack just slots it into the bottom left-hand corner. Walsall are on their way to the second round of the FA Cup. Eastleigh nil, Walsall 3.
Yeah, Walsall going through today with Shrewsbury and Port Vale, it would seem, are heading through. Gainsborough Trinity against Accrington kicks off at 5:15. You'll be able to hear that on Sports Extra as well. Women's Cricket World Cup final continues on Sports Extra right now, live from Mumbai, and we have, Clinton, 5 minutes of added time. We've got just over 3 minutes of that to go. They're nearly there, West Ham, and Nuno for his first win as the West Ham head coach.
But these fans look nervous. We're looking around and I'm seeing some nervous fans, and you would be nervous because it hasn't been a good start for them.
As it's given away by Schär. Bowen, left side of the area, shoots for goal, but from the angle, went for the near top corner. He's saying it took a deflection. It's behind. It's a goal kick to Newcastle. So extra time in the semi-final with you, Gavin Wallace.
Yep, it's coming up. Celtic 1, Rangers 1. Kenny on 25. Tavernier from the spot, 81. Rangers down to 10 men. This is a real Old Firm Cup tie, John. 1-1.
Yeah, the Rangers playing most of it with 10 men. Long ball forward for Newcastle, but Elanga sticks out a leg, can't get a touch. Cheers from the West Ham supporters. They're on their feet now. Now they're making a noise, the West Ham fans. On their feet, clapping their hands above their heads. It's a goal kick. 2.5 minutes to go. And try and bring the reaction. It'll be a very happy Nuno. Not that you'll necessarily be able to tell it in the interview that he does with us. He's very, very even, isn't he?
All the time. Even when Forest were flying last year, you'd have thought they were in a relegation sometimes. But that's how Nuno is.
Yeah. Goal kick. Areola. After Newcastle took an early lead, it seemed that the die had been cast, but not so. Lucas Paquetá with the equaliser, 35th minute, and then that own goal looks as though that is going to be the winner if it stays like this. But Newcastle come down the left-hand side with Barnes, 2 West Ham players with him, forcing Barnes to go down towards the corner flag. Final touch of a West Ham foot, it's out of play for a throw. Byrne is going to wind himself up, and there are yards and yards if you want to go right up against the advertising hoardings inside this stadium, the former Olympic Stadium. So here come Burns with a long throw from Dan Burn, flicked on right across the 6-yard box. Areola dives and gets there and catches it, safe in the goalkeeper's hands.
Yeah, that's what you want him. He needs to get up though. He's wasting his own team's time. Get up. And how you goalkeeper, you getting cramped? Come on, mate. I don't understand it. Oh.
Yeah, he's having to be treated by El Hadj Malik Diouf, who's giving Areola the straight leg treatment. So Robert Jones has gone over there, and he's actually showing to the West Ham players that he will be adding this time on. Let's see if he does, because we are in the 5th minute of added time. 5 minutes, so a minimum of 5 minutes, but there will have to be at least a minute, 90 seconds after this. But as you said, Clinton Morrison, you know, Newcastle have hardly battered the door in the second half.
No, they haven't. He needs to hurry up though. I don't know what he's doing. He's wasting his own team's time. Like, the referee, get him up, or if not get him, I know you can't even get him off the pitch, but I don't know what he's doing.
Right, he is on his feet now. He's hobbling.
How can you get cramped for collecting the ball in your hand? Like, you put in a shift like the rest of your players.
Well, he might explain that afterwards. The ball's dropped for him, and he then picks it up as Osula comes to force him to do that. And now Areola hurls it out over arm, and we are now into added time on added time. Cher heads it back. Absolute mystery now as to how much time there will be added.
Well, he just took 2 minutes, so he's wasted his own team's time.
So it could be 7 minutes, but we'll see. West Ham winning 2-1. Cher, long ball into the West Ham area. That is headed away by Kilman, and he finds a teammate in claret and blue, and he's able to take it forward, Paquetá, and cross the halfway line. Still going in the end, runs it out of play down the left wing, and there's a little bit of a push and shove. Oh no, that's totally unnecessary. Well, that's ridiculous, really. Jacob Ramsey's got involved in that, shoved over Paquetá. They've both received yellow cards. That's enraged the West Ham supporters. Paquetá looks as though the world's greatest injustice has just been served on him.
He deserves it. Why is he rolling around like he's been punched by someone? Get up. John, it so frustrates me with footballers now in this day and age. Like, just get on with it.
Yes. I have the feeling, Clinton, you might have had a trick or two of your own in your time.
Definitely, but I was the one giving it out, John.
So Ramsey and Paquetá both yellow carded, and again, time has got to be added on for this. We're now in the 7th minute of added time.
Blame their goalie though, he went down. I don't know why he was going down, Areola.
Pope, the Newcastle goalkeeper, long and forward from him. Kilman comes and gets a big header on that for West Ham, and he's headed it straight to Bowen, and there's only Tonali back, and now he's played it to Paquetá. Bowen wants it back, right side of the area to win it, shoots, Pope makes the save, and it's forced in! It's forced over the line by Souček, and West Ham have their win, their first at home season after 4 defeats out of 4. Listen to the noise. The West Ham Stadium has come alive. They've had to wait for it, but now they're revelling in it. 3-1 West Ham.
Yeah, it's a great break, to be fair. And Paquetá still has the legs to get forward, and it's great play from Paquetá. Plays it to Bowen. He is onside. They will be checking. He's onside, and he has the shot. Pope makes the same, but Souček reacts like a centre forward would react and taps it into the net. That is why our producer George said he used to be a centre forward, for his reactions there, John.
Well, the shot from Bowen actually rattled between the legs of Pope and bounced behind him into the 6-yard box, and Souček
they've disallowed it.
Oh, hang on.
I think they're saying maybe he got 2 hands on the ball when he's sliding in, but I couldn't see that. Could you?
I'm not sure about that, has he? Well, it's still flashing up on the massive screens. Goal. But it looks as though it's been ruled out. I mean, they are still ruling on this, but the way that Nick Pope is getting himself ready, it looks as though he's ready to take a free kick rather than a restart.
It's the offside. It's the Jared Bowen offside. It's the timing.
Offside.
Yeah, it's the timing of the pass from Jared Bowen.
As you were, goal ruled out, boos from the West Ham supporters. However, it's eaten up even more time. We are now in the 9th minute of added time. The score remains West Ham 2, Newcastle 1, after that dramatic moment was ruled out. So, well, it really is anyone's guess now. We're in the 9th minute of added time. This could go up to 11 yet.
Yeah, it could.
And still we're waiting.
I've got a taxi to get home. This is a goal. It's a goal. I told you.
Oh!
It's not offside. Yeah, do you know why, John? It's because the Jared Bowen, I said it earlier, it was when Paquetá played him in. He was level with the Newcastle one. It wasn't the Souček, it was Bowen. That's what they were checking for, offside.
Yeah, and it's onside. And it is 3-1 West Ham. Well, what a finish that is. Well, what a disappointment for Newcastle. 2 away defeats in a row for them in the Premier League, but what joy for West Ham. And even though they're at home, there's the whistle, there's the final whistle, and West Ham have done it. Their first win at home this season, their first victory in this stadium since February, and their first win anywhere since August, and also a first victory under Nuno Espirito Santo as head coach in his 5th match in charge. Bitter disappointment for Newcastle after going 1-0 up, but 3-1 the final score. More on this in a moment, but straight to Hampden because Gavin Wallace,
from 25 yards out, Captain Callum McGregor has fired Celtic into the lead. 3.5 minutes into extra time. It's a howitzer from 25 yards out. Celtic 2, Rangers 1, John.
So Celtic back in front there, but now the more natural sound of West Ham United, not the empty seats and the boos, although I should say, it's by no means absolutely packed to the rafters, as it wasn't right at the start of the day. But what a contrast now, Clinton, to the start of the afternoon when the players walked out to near silence. No expectation whatsoever from the home supporters, and yet they've come from a goal down and beaten Newcastle.
Yeah, they've been, outstanding. And you know what? It's down to the players to give the fans something to do. This place was jumping. It wasn't at the start, but I think after that first initial 5 or 10 minutes, it was outstanding. And that's what you got to do as players. You got to give these fans something to shout about, and they've done that all afternoon. Brilliant performance, though. It wasn't smash and grab, John. They actually thoroughly deserved it.
Yeah, so they're still in the relegation zone, but that makes a world of difference, doesn't it? 7 points now for West Ham, and after Jacob Murphy's early goal, and the Newcastle players have gone to their supporters who are still here, and we have to pay tribute to many of them who have had real difficulties getting to this match. 1-0 up through Jacob Murphy, but Paquetá made it 1-1, the Botman own goal just before half-time, and then the clincher from the emergency striker Thomas Souček in the 6-yard box right at the end. And Jared Bowen said it, didn't he, in his column in the programme today, we need to really pull our fingers out, and they've done just that. West Ham 3, Newcastle 1.